Welcome back to the Scoop College Basketball Podcast presented by Hoop Scoop Media, and we are back for another episode of the podcast. And it's been a minute. It's been a little bit since our last episode.
We're a bunch of
Yeah,
lazy bums over here.
yeah. Our schedules never work out. I always want to do a podcast, and everyone else. The times I want to do it, no one else is available. So we ended up having to get this one in now. In the future, I can't give any guarantees, but we will try to stay more on top of it, more getting to that weekly, maybe even more going into conference play episodes instead of like once a month. So yeah, not a good look for us. Not a good look
Well,
for us, but
definitely not
um
beating the consistent allegations.
we are not. But some platforms that we have been more consistent on is our other social media account, specifically Instagram. We've been posting a lot more there, doing some pre-conference season previews. Yeah, so just a reminder to follow all of our social media platforms to always stay up to date on what we're doing. That's at Hoop Scoop Media on Instagram, Twitter, maybe TikTok. We're starting to dive into that. I haven't That's another platform that we haven't really took advantage of yet, but we do have an account.
Now we
Starting to
got the
think about
conference previews up. Now you can just post them and in video form, things like that.
yes, yeah, Instagram, obviously YouTube as well. If you're listening to this on the podcast platforms, um, just know that we do have it on YouTube as well. We would appreciate you listening, subscribing there, but if you're on the podcast platforms, we still respect that. 5-star reviews would be much appreciated. And yeah, leave comments or whatever, however that works. But yeah, we should get into the actual college basketball news. This episode, we're just kind of giving you like a wide view of college basketball, where it is at right now, looking at a lot of where teams are headed going into conference play. A lot has changed since the start of the season, as always. But
Of
yeah,
course.
but the first thing we should probably touch on was quite a shocking headline, huge news in the college basketball world today, and that is that Illinois star Terrence Shannon Jr. was charged with rape. He posted bail and is not in jail, like not in jail at the moment, but was arrested. I believe it was earlier today or maybe yesterday. But yeah,
I'm
this
shocked
is
he was able to post bail. Like I
yeah.
thought that was
I don't know
weird.
how the legal process works
That
like
was
that, but
off putting.
I'm not. I mean, he's still pleading not guilty at the moment. He has not been accused, but he has been charged or something like that. He hasn't. He's not going to jail quite yet. We'll see what happens there. But
This is something that happened
yeah,
in September.
yeah, allegedly happened following the Illinois at Kansas football game. Shannon was there not as a member of any Illinois organization. She just went to the game, and yeah, um, quite the story. When I saw this on my Twitter notifications from John Rothstein, I thought it was like the John Rothstein Twitter account. It's been posting like random stuff, and people are thinking it's actually John. And I checked into it, and I was just like, I was
There's
shocked.
the check
So
mark.
yeah, so I mean, it's obviously too early to really know what's going on. Like we don't know how this is going to wind down. Is he going to play again this season? I mean, we'll see. Not a huge, I don't have a lot of knowledge of the legal process, but I guess we'll see. I mean, this is not looking great. I mean, it's kind of a bad look on everything. Bad look on Illinois. Apparently I knew about it, but like it wasn't charged. He wasn't charged until yesterday, so not really like a terrible look on Illinois, but still not a
It's
great
just
look
been
for
happening
anyone.
too much in
Bad
the
look in
sport.
college basketball as a
Yeah.
whole. One of the top 5 players in the sport getting charged with rape. That's a bad look. Not
And it's happened twice in the same place in the same year. It happened
yeah.
with Arteria Mars preseason,
Stay
who's
out
made
of
an impact on Kansas. His absence definitely has.
yeah.
And then now in Lawrence again. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Yeah, the Morris thing was they're like that wasn't a complete shocker based on his previous history. Like
Yeah,
Shan, I was just
right.
blown away with
Absolutely.
that. But yeah, um, we're probably going to see Michigan fans like start taking victory laps over this because like obviously the admissions process they were going to get him 2 years ago, but hopefully I don't. That would be that's it's
Yeah, they also had
hopefully we
Caleb
don't see any of
Love
that.
too, and then they lost out on him, and they would sure like him right now.
Yes,
I
they
mean,
would. Doug McDaniel's been really good
he's
though.
been good.
Like
They
I
could use
mean,
somebody next to him though, definitely.
those two players. I mean, like I'm not saying that it was a good thing that they got rid of him, but that would have been interesting to see how that would have
Yeah, I don't know how they
hypothetically
would
worked out.
coexist,
But
but
yeah, you definitely take him. You'd rather have who are even
is it
like
Lillian still?
Namar Burnett, Jalen Llewellyn. Namar Burnett's been up. But yeah, like either way, you'd rather have Caleb Love. But also Tommy Lloyd's a significantly better coach than Juwan Howard, who Juwan
Significant.
Howard is staying at Michigan this season. There were rumors that he might not have been after getting into an altercation allegedly with the strength coach.
That apparently didn't happen or something now.
Yeah, I
According to
don't
Jalen
know.
Rose, is like, oh, nothing happened to my boy.
Yeah, Juwan do I don't think he's gonna be there past this season. Like
I
it
don't
just
either, man. This is getting really dried
and
out.
it might be on his own terms. Like he might not get fired. I mean, I know he's been dealing with medical issues. He just recently started like actually coaching a team in game again.
Hmm.
So yeah, but it just isn't working out after a few really good years.
Yeah, yeah,
It's
that's not.
had his highs, but now we're seeing the lows. But Michigan isn't terrible this year. Like he could still this team could still end up okay.
They
Um
could, but I think
Borderline tournament
take
team.
it's gonna take a lot, honestly. They've started to pile up some pretty bad losses, and
I mean, they lost to
Long
Long
Beach at
Beach, but
home.
like I don't
Um,
remember.
they lost to Florida.
And that's not a
That
bad
won't be
loss.
bad.
Indiana at home, you wanted that one.
Yeah, that's not a good loss.
No, like it's not the worst thing, but like that's one when you're on the bubble that you're really gonna want back.
Yeah, that and the Long Beach one
Yeah,
at
I mean
home.
obviously Long Beach, but yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, but they're still a decent team. Think they're
On
doing a lot
paper,
better than
yeah. I
a
just
lot
don't
of the
see them
teams in the conference.
performing to expectation.
Yeah, definitely a little better than I thought it'd be. Though honestly, like I was really low in them, and they've been okay.
Yeah, they were
Uh,
better than I thought they'd be when Phil Martelli was coaching them. And the
Yeah, but then
Hanskin.
he was still coaching him when they kind of started to fall
Well,
downhill.
yeah. The
So
Long Beach game was kind of the start, and then after that game,
yeah,
that was like his last game, and
I think he was still coaching for a while, but like Juwan was still on the bench, but wasn't like actually cleared to like
yeah,
coach
no.
any.
The first game, Jawan came back on the bench. He got teed up, and
Yeah,
Michigan basketball is just a mess, man. I don't.
yeah, but it's not as much of a mess as Louisville. We should probably talk about them just separately because they're not firing Kenny Payne mid-season, which I'm interested to know what your thoughts are on this because like on the one hand, like they're so bad, but on the other side, like, is there like really like what do you gain by firing him now? What are your thoughts on like what they should do?
Um, Look, I think it would be nice if like Louisville's board would come out and say why, but we'll never get that. I'm hoping it's for the reason we can't gain anything from this, and they're not
And I,
wrong.
I think it was also like they think I also heard that like the interim situation, like they don't really know what they would do there.
Yeah, of course. I mean, who knows what the assistants on his staff
So
are? They're going to be
yeah, I
puppets
mean,
of
I mean
him,
they
if
would
anything.
probably, I don't know.
It's not going to end
Yeah.
up well. Look at what's going
They
on in
could
West
find
Virginia.
I don't know where David Padgett is right now, but they could they could just call him up call him up
He's-
for round two. But yeah,
yeah, it's a nightmare situation over there. It's
he
just
is
unbelievable
yeah.
how off the tracks Louisville is right now.
Mhm.
But yeah, no, honestly, the reasoning is just what matters to me. I just hope this isn't, like corrupting and oh, Kenny was supposed to be this guy. We gotta give him, a couple more chances, and then it's gonna lead to another chance.
Yeah.
You know how the boards
There's
are.
no way he's there after this year.
Like it just can't lead to another year. It
It
can't.
won't. They would they would fire him now if this was the end of the season. Like if
Oh, of
he's
course.
definitely
Oh.
he's on his way out. But yeah,
I
it
just
is
hope, the
interesting.
people that hired him don't have, they get all egotistical and think, "Oh, but this guy is a talent savior. Oh, we hired him for this. We hired him for that."
I don't. I think
I hope.
everyone. I don't think anyone likes him anymore. But his press conference interviews are pretty funny. He says some wild stuff. Like it's been such a disaster. Like I remember when they lost like the exhibition games, he was talking about how like they're not gonna out talent everyone. Like it's why they brought you in. And when like Tyler Johnson, like he didn't want to play because he didn't have his tights, and
And then the
also
one guy who was in the stands and watched them lose
yeah, Coron Davis, like that was another crazy
when they
situation.
lost by
Like
20 to Arkansas
but
State, and
like
he just got
yeah,
his hands behind his.
because he was dismissed from the team, and then like Kenny Payne like acted like he wasn't dismissed from the team. Like no, he's not in trouble. Like and then
And then you see him in the crowd.
yeah, and then Louisville tweeted, or Louisville like released that he entered the transfer portal, but apparently that was not communicated because and Davis said like, oh, I never entered the transfer portal, and then yeah, then they changed that and then said he was dismissed. What a crazy. Needs like a reality show or something. This is
It's getting to New Mexico
it's
State level, man. It's
no,
getting there.
it's
It's
just
getting
not getting
there.
New Mexico State level. It's just at least Louisville's disaster like somewhat on the court. Like obviously, I have just like the funny weird
They don't
stuff
have
off
the
the
off the
court, but
court
like
element.
this is not getting to those points. There's still a while to go, but this is still pretty bad. It's this is definitely
It's
one of the
frustrating
worst.
for everyone.
Is this like maybe the worst hire ever that's like not like bad because of like off the court stuff? Like obviously New Mexico State, but like that's just
It's up there.
Siri was talking to me, but yeah, it's it's bad. Um, but yeah, we should talk about a few recruiting things and some transfers have still been moving around. It's
Sus.
like December, and two transfers have like committed recently that are playing now. One is Naquan Tomlin. Obviously, that was a big deal. He was on Kansas State. He got into some alleged incidents at a bar. Everyone wanted him back on the team except for the university president, seemingly. So he got dismissed from the team, graduated soon after, and is headed off to Memphis. He played against Vanderbilt. I didn't watch any of that
No.
game. I was busy watching FAU in Arizona. A little close game
Well,
in
close
itself.
for comfort, but
Yes, but
Memphis
yeah,
always seems to have a game like that every year where they
yeah.
just forget
Um,
and play down the comp. So I'm just gonna leave it at
yes,
that. Game
yes.
before break.
But yeah, I didn't really pay attention to what Tomlin did, but definitely notable that he is playing after Jordan Brown is no longer on Memphis. That was a disaster. This
Yeah, to say the least. Feel
Jordan
bad.
Brown era did not work out. He was like apparently not in shape, not
Oh,
really fit
wow.
to do what Memphis does. But
Then why did
yeah.
they
So
even pursue him? I
I
don't
mean,
know.
I don't
That's
know.
why I'm a little confused.
Probably a little bit on both ends.
Because like if you watch
Because
Jordan Brown of Louisiana, he's not an up and down big. Like you could even tell that. Like
yeah,
I don't.
I don't know if it was just like we'll take him because he's
He
available.
doesn't fit. He didn't. I mean, look, I was hyping him. I was, but like at the same time, when he
Yeah.
committed there, I was surprised. Like I didn't expect him there. Like
Like
it's not
Memphis had
stylistic.
money, he was available. He's good, but yeah,
And
it
you have Nick
didn't work
Jordan,
at
who's
all.
been awesome
Mm-hmm.
this year. He is
Yes.
completely broken out. He's been great.
Dandridge has been pretty good too.
No, Dandridge has always been pretty steady. I like
Yeah.
Malcolm Dandridge a lot. He's physical too. He sets the bar on the glass.
Yes. Let's see. Yeah, another transfer, a little bit of a lesser one, but Tinaj Petway, excuse me, he committed to New Mexico State from Stony Brook, and he played in the game the day after. That's some typical New Mexico State stuff. Even though they're past like the Greg Hire stuff, that's just always been a program that does things like this. Like they'll take a bunch of
They're very
interesting,
unorthodox.
interesting, yes.
Yes.
I do think Hooten is a really good coach, but like they'll do some crazy stuff. Just as a program, like over the years, like they have more lenience with taking people that with past
Questionable
not that
backgrounds.
Petway, not trying to infer that Petway has any problems, legal problems in his past. Just wanted to point out the fact that he literally committed. He posted his like commitment, and the next day he was suiting up and playing game action for them, which is pretty funny. Grambling State got a transfer to today from Northwestern State.
You made a big boy edit.
Marion McDonald. I made his ed. Don't know if he's gonna play this year. Um, don't know
Nice.
how that situation's working out, but still a pretty decent addition when next year maybe. He committed in December, so like I mean, if you're a transfer that commits in December, you're probably gonna get a shout out on the podcast. Not a lot of transfers moving here and there at this time
Chess,
in the
not
season.
checkers. Come on.
Yes. High school, Dylan Harper finally committed to records. This one's been done for a week or so now, but obviously we haven't been the best at podcasting. So, but yeah, this is monumental, especially for Rutgers. Two top three commits in the same class. This is going to be interesting to see if this turns into winning right away, how it goes. But regardless,
Yeah,
elite
Rutgers hasn't really
recruiting.
gotten it together like I've hoped. So, maybe next year. I think they'll
I
just
mean,
play for
this is
next year because
yeah,
next year is gonna be really special. I think.
yes. Interested to see if they have like transfers around. Like, are people gonna want to play with them now that like
I think it'd
got
be
these
smart to
recruits?
get some
But
because
also like how much money do you have?
Rutgers has they're gonna have some age around him. Simpson will be like a junior, I think.
Yeah, has Simpson even like done anything this year?
What?
I
He's
haven't
been on and
heard.
off. Like he hasn't been bad, but like
Yeah, I just haven't watched Rutgers and I haven't heard like anything about him for.
nothing eye popping. No, I
He's
mean,
been having some questionable efficiency numbers, but
I
he's
think
had some games. He's had some games.
he'll be better in
Um,
Big Ten play. I think anyway.
yeah, just not taking like the huge step up, but he's been okay, I guess.
They've played an annoying non-conference. Like Mississippi State's an annoying team. You don't want to
Yeah,
see them because defensively they're very good. They got out rebounded by like 25 in that game too. So
yeah.
that they need to work on that.
Jimmy Bell went off, fouled out Cliff pretty quick.
Yeah. So yeah, they have a
Yes.
lot more issues than I thought for sure. And Fernandez hasn't really been himself yet either.
Yeah.
So that's not good.
I don't know. I was kind of saying that this was gonna
Kind of.
happen.
Kind of.
You weren't. Just
I
pointing that
was.
out.
I'm disappointed in Noah.
Yeah, they're
But
still not terrible though.
I
Like,
think they will be. They'll find themselves a little bit in conference play, especially with a lot of the middle Big Ten teams that I don't love either. So
yeah, it's a fair statement. Washington got Zoom Diallo, pretty highly ranked recruit from Washington, 4 or 5 star. He might be a 5 star. I
he is
just
a
not
five.
looking at the
I saw
rankings.
he's a
Yeah,
five.
definitely know he's pretty highly ranked. Good get from Mike Hopkins, who is in the process of saving his job right now.
The Renaissance is coming.
They've been having some close calls though.
Oh, you
Eastern
should have seen
Washington,
how much I was
Seattle.
slandering Mike Hopkins over the years, even last year, dude. Oh, I
I mean,
was.
he still deserved all of it, but they're kind of back this year.
I like him this year.
That Seattle game was something. Like
That was
I remember when
something.
like the sound went off and then like the broadcast started glitching and I thought it was my TV, but yeah, they did beat Seattle in multiple overtimes. Um, a few weeks ago, a week ago or so. Yeah, Kentucky got another guy, Billy Richmond. Um, should be a decent recruit for them. Darian Sutton, pretty decent recruit, 4 star in his own right, is off to Georgia Tech. Damon Stoudemire is getting some dudes. This is great to see. Georgia
Georgia
Tech's going to
Tech
be
has
good.
exceeded expectations so far for me. I think
Yeah.
they've pretty good. They've had
Uh,
a
Baden Dongo
questionable
has been
loss
really good.
recently, but they've gotten better since those losses for sure. They look good in the
Yeah.
Diamond Head Classic.
The
Really well.
Dongo is going to be really good.
He is good.
Good get away at the last because he was Rutgers.
Kapari is nice too. I like Kapari.
Yeah, he's been fine. Yeah. Missouri got Aaron Rowe. Um, last last week. Um, pretty solid commit there as well. Dennis Gates is cooking in 2024 recruiting. hopefully they can get some better transfers around that.
Yeah, this feels like
Um,
Kwanzaa year right now, so they need to.
yeah, like the team,
We're
like
back.
like the players are like good. There's just like there's
And
nothing like that really stands out.
like, did John Tanjay like pass away or something? Like, does he even play?
I don't know. I'll have to. I haven't like. I thought he'd be like maybe their featured option, and
Yeah, same. Tamar Bates at least plays and actually
yeah,
does pretty well. He's been pretty good. Who
yeah,
would have thought Sean East would be their leading scorer at 17 a game? That's when you know you're bad. I'm sorry.
yeah. I don't know if Tanja's hurt or like he just doesn't play because he played like a little bit for Seton Hall, but like hasn't played besides that in the last month. Um,
That guy
but yeah,
Robinson,
Sean East has
he's
been
a
really good though.
I know
Like
he's almost like a
he's
completely
been like an
different
all
player.
SEC guy. Like
Shooting the ball
he
from
has
three,
been
all three levels. He
he has
worked
been
on his
good.
game, man. I'll give him credit. That's
Yeah.
what the off season's for. The
Yes. Um.
work is working.
Yeah, he's really the only guy that's been good though. I mean, yeah, I mean
Robinson, I
Bates,
like.
Honor, like they have some guys. It's like again, they don't have a guy like they had Kobe Brown
Yes.
last year, even like Demoy Hodge. They don't have anyone like that this year.
Nah, not even
Which
close.
like Bates is
Noah Carter's regression has been something to notice. Well, he has not looked good this year. Noah
yeah,
Carter on both ends. You know,
yeah,
offensively, he gave you production last year. This year, it's just not even been close to that. Um,
yeah, yeah. I would like to see Bates like try to be more of a featured option now.
yeah, they got to do that, man. Like, I don't know why Gates isn't just trying to give the keys to the offense to somebody, but like, I guess we'll just keep having a new featured option every day and guess stick with Sean East. So
Well, I mean, Shawnee's is at least
he's
working
doing
out.
it.
Yes. But yeah, let's see. We want to go around all the conferences, all the major conferences at least. Where do we want to start? Just like kind of note on some of the teams.
Let's go with the
Where?
ACC. Let's start with what you posted today.
Yeah, let's do
I
that.
agree with
So
most of it,
okay, well let's bring up the post. We can just talk about the top few
except
teams
I
and
think Virginia 2 by Cho is insane, but
yeah.
we'll get into it. But there is a world, I guess, where that happens. Maybe. The ACC is actually way better than it's been, though. I like what Cho said about that. It's the first time in like 3 years where I think the conference has a little bit of depth. I think 1 through 13 is pretty good. 14 and 15, absolutely not.
Yeah.
um, but no, 1 through 13 are a bunch of teams that I don't hate at all, and I think are pretty decent. So
Yeah.
yeah, I like Clemson at 1. I think I'm gonna actually agree with Cho there. At 2, I'm gonna go with North Carolina at 2. I think North Carolina has been really impressive for me. Now the question mark is Hubert Davis. That's really all I have as far as question marks. Harrison Ingram has been tremendous. Like, this is the player I've been waiting for
Yes.
years, man.
He has.
Like, he's been assertive, he's been aggressive. Like, what happened?
He was like it's funny because like
You
his
can't put it
appeal
all on Jared Haas. Like, the dude
hit, and
legitimately
then
has been in.
his appeal coming out of Stanford was like a like point forward, like because
Mhm.
he's a good passer, and like that's not at all what he's been. He's been like
Yeah,
elite shooting the ball.
been the polar
I
opposite.
mean, still been good on defense. I mean, he's always kind of been a pretty good defensive player due to his size and kind of how he plays the game and his size. But like he's been legitimately like a really good role player this year. Is what he's
Yeah,
been.
he has.
He's been hitting his shots.
For sure. You know what? At 3, I'm gonna go with Wake Forest.
That's
I am.
stop.
Guard play is so good, so good. We're gonna go into
Us
Kevin
Wake Forest
Miller.
is not better than Duke.
Duke's just like, I worry about consistent guard play.
Roach
Um,
has been really good. I mean, I don't know if
Roach,
I don't know what
Proctor, and
Proctor's
the
health
others have just
is.
not been as good. And now Wake's got a legitimate front court, and I think that's where a lot of the excitement lies for me is now that you have a rim protector. Now you have
Wake
somebody who
Forest is not going to be better than Duke. I will.
there's a world where it's true, man. Duke has not been consistent at all. They lost to Georgia Tech on the road,
No, yeah, that
and they look
happened. But
terrible. They didn't.
I
They
mean, I think they're turning corner now. To like, I was really out on them. Then they beat Baylor. I mean,
yeah.
really, most of their guys have been good. Like, their freshman guards McCain, and McCain's been really good recently. Caleb Foster, they're getting a lot of good run out of him.
I hope their freshmen have turned a corner. Then again, I haven't watched much of Duke. I got to go
I
off
mean,
of
like
like.
Filipowski's probably like the second best player in the country. Like, there's no way they're not finishing top three or at least four. I had them first because I think like at the end of the day, they're gonna find a way to win it. Like, even though they haven't really been like the regular season team, I just like to see them more than anyone else in the conference. I think it's
I did
close between the
preseason as well. I've just seen some things that are
Yeah, it's
concerning.
close. The top three can go any which way, and I won't be mad between them, Clemson, North Carolina. But I think Duke is at least the best team in the conference, regardless if they actually finish first in the standings. Um, I
I
mean,
was going to make a whole post on Wake Forest. I am
they're good. I do like
extremely
Wake Forest
moved by
though.
them.
Like,
Um,
I do really like Wake Forest as like a team that could like sneakily make the tournament. Salas has been really good. Boopy Miller has been really good. I mean Hildreth, like all their guards, Andrew Carr has been really good. Like, they've been getting good play out of all their guys. I just don't think they're really close to Duke. Like, I think Duke's just that much better. Like,
they have a lot more talent and they're deeper. I think that's really the only thing that I would say. I think Wake Forest guards have been better. I mean, especially scoring
yeah,
the
I mean,
ball. Shot
scoring,
creation wise,
yeah,
they can really create. Like Boopy
yeah.
Miller he's surpassed so many expectations of mine. Salas has been awesome. I think he's been like a top 10, top 15 guard in the country with what he does on both ends.
He's up there.
Um,
Yeah.
and then you have Hildreth, who's been just exactly what you need. Now you've
Mm.
Efton Reed back. Andrew Carr has really surpassed his expectations the last like 2 or 3 years. He's been there 2 years now. I didn't think he'd be even good at Wake Forest, if I'm being honest, and he has done really well.
Yeah, that's Steve Forbes' transfer
He gets a
ability.
lot
He's
out of his guys, man.
hmm
Obviously, depth I kind of worry about, but they have Mangian or Marquez Mangian.
yeah, Marion Mitrovic,
Marion,
whatever.
he's
Yeah.
solid.
Um,
He gives you good
Parker
size.
Frederickson's been good too, another freshman.
He's a freshman. Yeah.
Yes, both of those guys. Yeah, like I do like Wake Forest. I just think it's egregious to have them over Duke. And
Yeah,
then
okay.
like um
I know you're pretty high on Duke. I have to watch them play. I think that's
yeah,
really
I haven't watched a ton of Duke either outside of like their first few games. I mean, I watched them Arkansas, like that was just a game that Arkansas was gonna win regardless. Like,
yeah.
just like I watched them versus
Arkansas
Arizona.
didn't even look great that game. Duke looked so bad in that Arkansas game.
That
That
was just a
was
game that like Arkansas was like, no matter what happened,
they
Arkansas
they
was
were
gonna
gonna
win.
win. No, I hundred
Like, it
percent
didn't
agree.
matter what happened in that
I don't know
game.
why people thought otherwise.
Yeah.
um, yeah, it's gonna depend on Duke's freshmen. I think if they want to,
Yeah, I mean, is Proctor like when is he gonna be back? I don't know
is
because
he
like
out
I
with an injury or?
yeah, he's because he in the Georgia Tech game he got hurt like really early in that game.
Mm,
He hasn't been back yet. I don't know when he because that's kind of significant. Um,
to say the least.
yeah, but Roach has been like really good this year, especially since Proctor's been out. He's been really
He's the
consistent, efficient,
upperclassman. He's got to
scoring the
step up.
ball.
He's been doing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Proctor. I mean, even before he got hurt, he wasn't exactly like the All American that people thought he would be. But
Yeah, he was a bit disappointing as well. So I'll put Duke for, and then I'm kind of on board with the. I don't know what it is with Miami so far this year. I don't, I haven't really watched them a ton to kind of put a finger on why they've been struggling. Defensively, they're definitely not as good. I will just say that. At least in years
I mean,
past,
they've been always bad defensively, at least like in the
but at
past
least
like
it's been like,
3 years.
manageably bad. Like this year, like they give up like 80, 90 a game. Like they gave up 80 something to LaSalle.
They
Like,
gave up like a million to Cornell last year.
yeah, that was one game though. It's been pretty consistent basis so far, at
Yeah, I
least that I've
mean,
noticed. Like, but again,
yeah,
I haven't really watched them. I watched them early on in the year. They looked amazing. So Miami's a team you definitely have to watch to find out what's wrong with them because
Yeah, I
they
don't
have
know
a
what to
style.
think about.
I'm a little bit down, I guess, on them, even though I hate being down on Miami because I like their style. But I'm kind of on board with that. I'm gonna put Virginia Tech fifth. I'm kind of on board now since with this Tyler Nickel breakout has gotten me on board. I was not on board at all before that. When they lost Rodney Rice, preseason, I was definitely not on
Yeah,
board.
I mean Virginia Tech, they're good because of Lynn Kidd. Like
Yeah, Lynn Kidd is
he's been
awesome, and he's
elite.
somebody I've really hyped up in the off.
That's the reason Virginia Tech is like sort of competitive right now.
Yeah, he has been like a 70% shooter like every last two,
Hmm.
3 years too. This is nothing new. Like he
But
is
like now he's I mean he's way more efficient this year and he's getting the minutes. Like
he's getting more attempts too. Like he's
yeah,
getting more time. Mike
yeah,
Young's finally realized, oh, I need to actually like start him. That's something he didn't do in years past for some
yeah.
reason.
I mean,
Um,
like Basile was good last year, so I mean it's
yeah,
not
well,
like
with Basile though, you didn't get any rim protection, so you lost out on that. Lynn Kidd gives you that. Um,
yeah. I
the thing
mean,
with Virginia
yeah,
Tech is the
he gave you
perimeter
like
defense.
okay rim protection. He just wasn't like he was just like slow. But Kid definitely brings you more of like the true big man.
Yeah,
Um,
Virginia Tech's obviously when you look at them, it's going to be perimeter defense. Couture battles for size, but guys like Padula, they don't play defense. Like, it's just they don't
yeah,
have size out there to really. Couture does pretty decently though, for his size, and he's bigger than people expect. But I mean, he can't really be your best perimeter defender though. Like he's a complimentary guy that can hold his own. Like if Hunter Couture is like your best guy out there on defense as far as perimeter goes, like that is kind of a problem. And then they have MJ Collins who's pretty good on defense,
yeah.
but he
So
doesn't do anything
yeah.
offensively. So,
Should you have Virginia Tech ahead of Virginia then?
yeah, I'm not
Yeah.
liking Virginia this year. I'll put Virginia at six though. Virginia offensively is just an absolute disaster. I don't know where Isaac McNeely's the only piece I really like scoring wise. Beekman does
Yeah.
a lot of the little things, but like
Yeah.
hey, he's a good distributor. He plays good defense, but Brian Dunn is awesome. I will say that
He is
much.
so good, defensively especially.
For sure. So they're gonna be in every game, but as far as like closing games go, like
Yeah.
I'm
They
worried.
weren't in the Memphis game.
That's for sure. And they, played Northeastern down to the wire. Like, Virginia always does
Yeah.
that non-conference with
They
some
do things
shitty
like
team.
that.
Um, so yeah, I'm just not really trusting Virginia right now.
Okay.
At seven, I'm gonna go
We
Miami.
yeah, we don't really have to go too far into the standings, obviously. Just hit on any like last thing you want to hit on in the conference.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest, the rest is pretty much chalk, like
Yeah.
nothing crazy. Probably be Pitt. Then I'll go Georgia Tech at nine. I'll go Syracuse at 10, BC at 11. Then I'm gonna go NC State at 12. Then I'm gonna go Florida State at 13. I don't like NC State at all.
Yeah.
I'm
I don't
not
like them too much
not a
either.
fan right now. They have some pieces, of course, with Burns and stuff, but just a combination of bad coaching, no defense, I think is and they don't really have the talent that they did.
Yeah.
So that's the ACC.
Let's see. What conference do we want to hit on next?
You want to just go in order what you posted on? I'm on your
Uh
account right now. I'm just scrolling through.
let's see. So Pac-12 then.
I see Missouri Valley, unless I'm
Yeah,
tripping.
we can hit the main conferences first and
All right, yeah, let's do it. Pac-12.
do a little bit.
Pac-12 is really
Obviously this will be a little shorter conversation here. It's
yeah.
Arizona's
I don't know what
conference.
to talk about.
There's a 0% chance they don't win the conference.
Zero.
Um, they're amazing. We don't really need to talk about them too
They're
much. I mean,
awesome.
they're just amazing 1 through 5. They have elite players like their starting lineup of like Boswell, Love, Larson,
And
Kishad
look,
Johnson,
we got
Bell
to
is
address this to the
amazing.
crowd that wants to overreact to close losses. Like they played well in that FAU game. This is how good
Yeah,
FAU
they're
is,
still like
bro.
a top 3, 4 team in the country.
It was much more of FAU just being
Yeah,
extremely
FAU
legit.
is just good.
And they have shot creators everywhere.
Hmm.
They are a hard guard for anybody in the country, unless you're
Yeah,
Bryant. But that was the most fluky game I've
yeah,
watched this year,
absolutely.
and I can say that with supreme confidence because that's a game I watched, and something was in their drink that game. That was not normal basketball for them. They are a
Hmm.
tremendous team. So yeah, Arizona's legit. That game doesn't really mean much as far as Arizona goes.
No,
And then at two, I have Colorado. Colorado, I think, is in a really good
yeah,
spot if you were to buy stock in them. They got off to a little bit of a rough start losing to Florida State. But
yeah,
they are much better now. I think they've turned a corner. KJ Simpson has been all American caliber.
yeah.
He has been awesome this year.
He's like so efficient, and like my knock on him like preseason was like he's gonna get numbers, but like he hasn't
Yeah,
been
he
that
wasn't
efficient.
insanely efficient in
And
years
he's
past.
like a top. He's shooting his true shooting percentage is like 70% right now on like pretty high volume, which
Right. I
is
mean, it's been awesome.
crazy.
Then guys like
Um,
Luke O'Brien have
I
been
mean,
better.
yeah,
Um,
De Silva's also been really good
of course. I mean, you know
as
what you
well
get
as
with Christian De Silva.
Simpson, a elite 1-2 punch there.
Eddie
Um,
Lampkin's been decent,
he's been decent.
especially better recently. Julian Hamm, all
When
right.
Cody Williams has been healthy, he has been really good.
Oh yeah, and Cody Williams and I shared something today. He surpassed both of our expectations.
Yes.
And he's
Hopefully he can be healthy though, because having him injured doesn't do him any good.
yeah,
But
they
yeah,
definitely could use him.
definitely
So
made a little more instant impact than I thought would happen.
at three, I'm gonna go with Utah. I'm gonna go with the egghead. I'm gonna go Craig Smith. What can he not do with any roster? Like he is just a magic man, and Brandon Carlson's been great. They've gotten really good
Yeah.
production from Gabe Matson. Um, yeah, they just seem to be, and at home, they're going to be a home wagon. They
Yeah.
really are tough to beat there.
Hmm.
Although Washington Utah is going to be a good game soon. I
Yeah.
cannot wait for that game. So yeah, I have Utah three. I'm gonna go
Okay.
with
Do we want to um Davian Smith is eligible now. Just want to throw it out
oh
there.
there you
Um
go. They're definitely
I don't think he's like that good like individually. Like I'm not like a huge Davian Smith guy, but like he brings something like some
they don't have
athleticism that they don't have.
right.
Like that just that is
He's on the
important
right
there.
team, I think, and
Um
he's definitely under the right
yeah.
coach.
Fills a gap. Lawson Lovering has been better than I thought he would be.
I was a big Larson Lovering fan. I
I
think at
still think he should have gone to
Colorado.
Wyoming though.
Okay.
Should have gone home to Wyoming. That would have been great.
That would
But
have been pretty nice, but
home
yeah,
point
no, he's been
aside,
great.
he has been good.
He's finally gotten a
Um,
little more minutes than he had at Colorado. So
yeah,
that's been good.
yes. But
At
I'm
four,
just gonna jump in here and say that I do personally have USC above Utah in my standings because of how I think it's gonna end. Obviously, not right now. Utah's a much better team right now. I just think USC is good enough that by the end of the season they will find themselves ahead of Utah. Obviously, Utah has a coaching advantage, but I don't think it's so drastically that USC's talent advantage at the end of the day isn't going to matter. Like
yeah,
Andy Enfield is a very mediocre coach. Like you
I
kind of
used to
know
actually
what.
like Andy Enfield, but to
Yeah,
say he's even been mediocre this year is
I mean,
putting it nice.
not counting this year. I'm counting more
I
what he's
get you.
done like throughout his whole
I
career.
get
Like you kind of know what you're going to get from him, and this roster is maybe the best one he's had. I mean, it's definitely up there.
that or the Elite 18.
Boogie Ellis. Collier's been like he's been good, but like I don't know. I just
He's
haven't been
careless with
like
the ball, and that's a problem
I
that they
haven't
have.
really been moved by him, even though he's really I mean, he's scoring double figures every game. I mean, obviously has high turnover rate, but also gets a lot of assists. Like I don't know. I think he's still a very good player. I'm just not like thrilled with him. Even though
Mhm.
he's like one of the best freshmen in the country and probably one of the top picks in the draft. Boogie Ellis has been great. And Kobe Johnson's given you what you would think on defense.
So at four, I'm gonna go with Washington. I like
Okay.
Washington a lot this year. Wesley Yates hasn't even played a single minute yet.
Yeah.
As far as I know, they have an amazing front court that's going to give teams fits with rim protection. Their perimeter defense hasn't been, but I think it's more of because they play pretty fast. And usually I say fast-paced teams don't have an excuse to be bad defensively, but like with Severe
And
Wheeler and
Severe
Keon
Wheeler.
Brooks, guys push the pace a ton. And they like getting in up and down games. Although I think they do have some potential on that end. But Severe and
He's just not
one
a good
game,
defender.
he's not a good defender. I mean, there's no other way to cut it really. So they're going to struggle on the perimeter defensively pretty much all year. Even Moses Wood doesn't give you a ton on that
Yeah, I
end.
mean he's more of like a
Spot up shoot.
4, but
Yeah.
3-4.
But there's a lot of, I mean, their offense is awesome. You got
Yes.
Moses Wood, Severe has
Yeah,
been pretty
Keon
good
Brooks is
offensively
their
running the
best
show.
player. I mean, he's
Jan
been
is
really
definitely the
good.
best guy. You got Kepnang. Braxton Mee has actually been pretty nice this year.
Yeah, he was better last year for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah, he
At
was.
least he at least
So,
he played a lot more last year.
um,
Kept on being healthy has kind of impacted
mhm,
Mia's minutes, but yeah.
for sure. That's gonna
Corin
be.
Johnson's been pretty solid too.
Mhm. Yeah, no, I
Um,
definitely think Washington's actually going to squeeze in the tournament.
yeah,
I think they're right there. They're right where they need to be coming into conference
yeah,
play. They wish they won that San Diego State game, but really besides that, they're where they need to be. Then a five, I'll go with
yeah,
USC, which you already ran down.
yeah. Let's just hit in a few teams real quick.
Yeah,
Oregon,
we'll round it out.
they're just not healthy. That's just kind of their issues. Pretty talented team. They've
They're
honestly
supposed to
been.
get two of the guys back. Biddle's out for the year, though.
Is he? I
I
don't
think
think
someone
I
posted
didn't.
an update on his injury. I don't think he's coming back, but I don't know.
I don't know, but that wouldn't be the worst thing because he would get a year back. Since he got
Yeah.
injured so quickly. Dante should be back soon. No, I
Yes,
think.
Dante's supposed to be back in like 2 to 3 weeks,
Um,
but I don't know.
yeah. Hopefully he gets back soon. Zarzuela is the one that's out for the year, I think.
Yeah, yeah.
Not
Not a
that
huge
that's like
loss.
not
Um,
matters. I mean, not saying it doesn't matter,
we're
but
supposed to get
um,
Bartholomew back soon, I think. He's well,
I don't know. They have so many
but I
injuries.
don't know. I'm
Shellstead was hurt. He's back now. He's been good.
I'm gonna put Oregon at 6.
Yeah, I don't know what I'm
Keep
gonna
them
do with
there.
them. They just need to get healthy, and then we'll see going forward from there.
At
But
7, I'm gonna put Washington State. At
yeah,
8, I'm going to put Cal. At 9, I'm gonna put UCLA. They have been.
Let's talk about UCLA now.
Oh.
They just have no offense. It's pretty bad.
I just don't see how this gets better. I really
Like
don't.
Cronin's such a good coach. Like
He's
the
been off
team is
his
so
rocker this
young.
year, man. Like,
It
I don't know
it
what's been going on. He's been a little baby, like in press
yeah,
conferences. I
he
think
has
he's
been
starting to
saying some
become
stuff.
like, a bitter old man, and maybe it's rubbing off on the team. I don't know, man. Like, I don't see
This
this
is
getting
like a
better.
bad offensive team.
Yeah, I don't see this. The offense is just horrific. I just don't see this getting better.
Yeah.
And then at 10, I'll go Stanford. 11, this is pretty standard. 11, Arizona State, and then
Yeah.
12, the Beavs. Beavs and Bruins tonight.
Yeah.
Oh, it's gonna be a doozy.
Yeah. Last
First to
thing,
50.
Washington State hit on them real quick. Miles Rice and Isaac Jones have been amazing. That's kind
Miles
of all
Rice
I
is
have to say.
awesome. Isaac
Those two
Jones has been
guys,
good too.
yeah,
Yeah.
like they both been like borderline all Pac-12 guys. Hope
I
they
haven't
make the
watched Washington
tournament.
State yet, and I'm excited to watch them soon.
Yeah. They play Utah tomorrow
Yeah, it's a big game for
at
them.
Utah. Let's see, what conference do we want to go? I'll go with Big East because that post was out as well. Um, yeah, so I think I have Marquette winning the conference, but it's so close. The top two. You could
I'm
throw
gonna keep
Creighton in there
UConn
as
at 1 for
well.
now, even though they're in a bit of a hole, I guess. But they'll dig out of it.
With Klingon especially. Hopefully he
Everyone
can.
knows they're gonna dig out of it.
Yeah,
For the most part, my Big East is pretty much the same. As I
yeah,
posted, I think. Marquette 2. Although, yeah, Creighton, I won't have a 1 anymore. That's gonna be my
yeah,
difference. I just think they're
yeah. I moved
full
him
of
from
episodes.
one preseason to three now, but those
Yeah, but I had them
three,
at 3.
like they haven't been that great, but at the same time, like I think they have a big opportunity at Marquette.
They do.
If they can like win that, I think they're like
They can
back.
turn things around for
But
sure.
they've been a little up and down. Well, we'll
All
see
right.
if they can get some consistent play because still they have a really solid core.
For sure, no doubt about that.
After that though, after the
Depth
top
is always
three,
scary with Creighton
I
teams.
don't really know what to do after the top three. Maybe I was thinking like St. John's, maybe Villanova. I don't
Yeah,
know.
no, that's the thing. Like Villanova has looked good, but like they haven't. I mean, they did beat Creighton on the road, but I will say, like Villanova themselves didn't even look that good that
At
game.
least they beat DePaul by like yeah, Villanova. That was both teams should
That
have
was a
lost that
shame.
game. But
Um,
at least Villanova did beat DePaul by like 100 because they kind of like proved the they kind of proved some people
yeah.
wrong with that one.
I'm gonna put St. John's still at 4. I'm gonna have them at 4.
Yeah,
I'm gonna have Butler at 5, which I like. I think Butler, what they did at Providence, they were down 20 in that first half. They got punched in the mouth at the amp, as most teams do. What did they do? They went on like a 20 to like 2 run, and they forced that game in
they
overtime.
did.
Even though they lost that game, I don't believe in moral victories. I don't, but to do that in a place where a team has gone
Yeah,
46-3 in the last 49 games,
hmm
Butler has looked the part this year, whether people want to admit it or
yeah,
not. Um, Especially on both ends. And I trust Thad Matta a lot more than these other Big East coaches right now. Thad Matta elevates rosters. He seems to have found a roster that gels and they've bought in. And they're going to win a lot of home games. They are very good at home.
yes,
So I think they will be in competition for that fifth spot. Um,
yeah,
so I'm going to have them at 5. I'm gonna put Villanova at 6. Um, then I'm going to put Providence at 7. Then I'm gonna put Xavier at 8. Then I'm gonna put Seton Hall at 9, Georgetown at 10, DePaul at 11.
yeah.
I'm
All
not
those
liking
teams
Xavier
are
very much. I know you like them.
they did kill Seton Hall though. Like that
Yeah, that was
that
needed.
was a statement game.
That was needed. They've been good at home. Xavier's been
Yeah,
pretty good at home. That's what you would.
Olivari has been really good.
He has been. He has looked the part. I worry about Xavier long term defensively against teams in this
Their
conference,
defense is like kind of their strength this year though.
which
Like
is
they've had,
weird.
I mean,
Offensively, they have struggled outside of Olivari too. That has been the thing.
yeah,
They don't get a ton of consistent. Usman's been pretty good, but
yeah, he's
he's always in
been
foul trouble.
solid.
That's the thing, right? He's always in foul
Yeah,
trouble. He's not on the court. So, and I just think Xavier's stretch bigs that they run are going to get targeted at defensively pretty constantly. So I do think that's an issue as well. Yeah, I don't know. I just think Xavier's the odd team out as far as the mediocrity teams.
prob probably, but I do love Dalen Swain though. He's
Yeah.
making a defensive impact right away, which I
Yeah.
do love to see. Yeah, nothing really other to say there. The top three are good. After that, it's kind of a question mark of what you're gonna
Yeah, I think
get.
a team or two will kind of rise,
Yeah,
and
for
then the
sure,
rest will sink.
for sure. Let's see. Let's head over to Big 12.
Did you post that?
No, we're just
Ah,
that
shoot.
that was the last power conference I posted. So,
You're good. Yeah,
um, Kansas, like, I don't know if Kansas is really that good.
I would tend to agree with you.
Like, it's hard to say that when like you look at what they've done because they don't have any bad losses, or one loss was to Marquette neutral. So like maybe a little bit bigger margin you would have won, but like you can live with that loss. They have wins neutral Kentucky, neutral Tennessee, and home versus UConn. Like those are three elite wins. And
Uh-huh.
they don't have bad losses, and they probably have like two All Americans with McCullough and Dickinson. But like I don't know like how to say it, but like
And
they're not that good.
I could say they don't look the part, and then we say, "Oh, but they beat here."
Yeah,
Look,
like that's the
they
thing.
play these
Like
teams at the most unfair advantage in college basketball in the Allen Fieldhouse. They have no
yeah. But
production
like
outside
even
of their
like
top
Tennessee and Kentucky were like away from home. Like those are like they have
course.
everything to back it up. It's like
They don't have the scoring depth. I'll say it right
yeah,
now.
that's I mean,
Shot creation's not really been there. If McCullough didn't break out this year, they'd actually be bad. Like they will not
yeah.
be very good. Um, so they're lucky that McCullough can shoot threes now and do a lot of things offensively that he's not been able to do in years past.
Yeah,
He's taken that
because
step up.
Marco Jackson's not giving you anything. Nick Timberlake isn't giving you anything.
Absolutely not.
Not significantly, at least, compared to what we thought we might get out of those guys. Dwan Harris is the same player he's always been. Does
Yeah, he's
nothing
just not
really
good.
outside of pass and make a few open threes.
We're both not big DeJuan Harris fans
Nah,
here.
he's like a really good passer, but like he's also kind of turns the ball over a lot. Kind of can't do anything outside of that. So like he's a good defender. He's
Yeah,
a good
no,
on ball
that's his
defender.
biggest
Like
strength.
he's good at what he does, but like he's just not like one of the top point guards
He's
nationally.
a
And
product of his talent around him. He's always been.
yeah,
He's
he
got a
plays his
very
role
easy
great,
job.
but Kansas fans overhype him way too much.
Yeah,
KJ
would
Adams
he
has
be a
been
number
awesome
one
though.
option anywhere? No, because he doesn't have
No, you
skills.
can't be. KJ Adams has been really good. But like again, like I don't know how
You
good.
know
I
what
think
you're
I
gonna
have
get out of
Houston.
KJ Adams.
I'd have Houston winning.
I do too.
They have been the best team in the country so far, especially defensively. Um, Offensively, Crier has been really good. Shed has been really good facilitating, and
Sharp and Pryor have been their two best offensive guys scoring the ball wise, but like Shed is gonna wake
yes,
up at some point. They haven't even reached near their potential offensively yet, which is scary.
yeah. I mean,
Shed,
I think that kind of. I mean, Arsenault being out for the year, which he is, that kind of
that
hurts their
sucks
offensive potential. But
for sure.
um,
I think guys like Don and they need
yeah,
to
Dunn can
wake
take a
up.
step up. Like
No.
their big men are always going to be good. So yeah,
Yeah, they're gonna need, I think, a third guard to step up, but I think it'll happen. Like, and I do like them more than Kansas, so
yeah,
because I think that because of how good they are on defense, like it's just
yeah,
it's gonna really affect guys like Dickinson around the rim, even though they're undersized. Like their physicality is gonna bother him, and things like that. They're gonna make Kansas very uncomfortable, with their defense. So I like Houston at 1. At 2, I think I'm probably still gonna go Kansas.
yeah. I think so too.
And then at 3, I'm gonna go Baylor.
Probably. What about BYU?
I
Like,
like me some BYU. I
I want to
really
see
high on
them.
this
Let's
season.
see. Like, Windsor, they play at Baylor on January 9th. That's like the first like real test, unless they
Caleb
don't get
Loner
past Cincinnati.
revenge game. Oh.
Potentially. Yeah. BYU is like killing it to metrics. Like they're 12th in offensive efficiency. They're ninth in defensive. They've been shooting it amazing. They've been doing like everything really good. They've been really good rebounding team. I guess we'll just kind of see.
The thing with BYU, I got to see them win on the road in Big 12 play. They're going to need to win some road games, and it's going to be tough, I think, anywhere. So
Yeah,
that's where I kind of
they
worry.
have not won a road game this year. They're 0-1, lost to Utah, which is not a bad loss, but they're gonna
Oh
need
yeah, they're
like
going to
big
have
games
to
like that.
certainly win some there.
Yeah.
Um,
Next,
at 4, I'm going
probably
to put Iowa State. I'm gonna put Iowa State.
okay.
Even though they've not played anybody, I still
We'll see what happens. Another team that like they have great metrics, but like they've just been beating up bad teams.
HBCU. I don't.
Um,
They
yeah,
don't
but
usually play the best non-cons, but
yeah, but they're really good on defense too. Lipsy is great. Definitely.
yeah, I'll be honest. Like the middle of the Big 12 right
Yeah.
now, I'm not loving it. Like I'll be
No,
honest,
like and then Oklahoma's above that tier. They've been good
they've been good for
this
sure.
year. And
Um,
you have like Oklahoma and BYU. Like those teams are separate and but like yeah, I agree with your what you're saying. Like the TCU, Texas, Cincinnati, Texas Tech, K State, like
they
those
not
teams
look
have
good.
not been that good. Like all those teams have potential to make the tournament. They
I
show up a
will
lot.
say Texas Tech has turned a corner. I think recently, I've watched a lot of them. I know it's been not the greatest opponents, but they've seemed to have found something offensively recently.
Hopefully.
Um,
Um,
I'm gonna
Cambridge
put
out like will hurt them now. Like even though it's like not super new, he's been out for a few games.
I'll put
They've been playing
Texas
good
Tech at
without him, but
5.
like
And then I'm gonna put,
above BYU and Oklahoma.
I think there's regression that's gonna happen with those two. I
Yeah, but
think that's
like,
pretty
is their
inevitable.
regression going to be that substantial where they get below Texas Tech?
Possibly. I definitely think there's a world where
We'll
that
see. We'll
happens.
see.
Yeah, I'll put Oklahoma at 6. I'll put BYU at 7. I'm not
Yeah,
all
yeah.
the way in on them yet. I have to
And
see
after
how
that,
they
just
perform on the road.
kind of a like big jumble of teams. Like TCU has been
Not,
okay.
I'm not moved by TCU.
I liked them better in Texas at this point.
Yeah,
Like
I just, of
TCU
course,
hasn't done anything bad yet. I mean, they could have beat net. They would have been good, better off if they played good against Nevada.
they
They
didn't.
also haven't beat anyone. Texas also hasn't beaten anyone. So like a lot of it's just kind of wait and see. But like Cincinnati also have they no, they
They
haven't beat
looked
anybody
really
either.
bad against Dayton. They
Yeah.
looked not great against Xavier. I think they could have beaten Xavier this year. Like, if there's every year they could have beaten Xavier. I know it's in Xavier. I know it's a rivalry game. They haven't beaten Xavier in like 6 straight
It's it's
chances.
it's been a minute. It's been a minute.
Um, like they kind of needed that game. I actually felt like, but no, that was an annoying loss, especially if Xavier's going to finish towards the bottom of the Big East. That's going to hurt a
Yeah,
little
we'll
bit.
see. Xavier's metrics are still like kind of decent at this point now, so we'll see how that happens. But yeah,
And then it's what were we, 7? No,
I don't
I
know.
BYU at 7, and at 8, I'll go. Gosh, so much mid right now. Um,
It, it doesn't really matter at this
we can
point.
just. It's a bunch of mid.
Yeah, and then UCF, Oklahoma State, and West Virginia are down there at the bottom.
Woo-wee.
West Virginia has Raekwon Battle back though.
Raekwon's looked awesome. He is an incredible scorer. They don't have anything
He's
else though.
no
And
Jesse
Jesse
Edwards
Edwards
is
is out.
out too now.
Yeah, not Kirk Creases looks pretty solid.
Farrakhan's actually been like kind of good, which
I haven't. Oh, okay.
I mean, he's also playing in a bad team versus like
Right.
versus
That
Radford,
they
but
don't do anything defensively. They are not
they
good on.
don't really do anything on the other side of the ball.
And
But yeah, speaking about Raekwon Battle, do we want to talk briefly about like everything that went on the transfer? Because like all the rulings were kind of started because of him, like the court, things that went to court, those are kind of
here if you want.
because so what's your view on the transfer, like the two-time transfer thing?
Um, Look, I think if we make everything, and Rick Pitino, I think, came out and said a quote about it the other day um where I 100% agree with it. Like, Rick Pitino is basically me in my older form when it comes to basketball takes. So he was like, yeah, if we start giving transfer portal, maybe I should just pull it up and go word for word, honestly. So basically what I'm going to say is I'm not a fan of everyone just playing, right? Like, people should get waivers for coaching changes, 100%. People should get waivers. Really, I mean, for anything else, like, that's really it. Like, besides that, we shouldn't be giving out a ton of waivers here. The issue I have with the waiver system right now is there's no consistency at all. That is the problem.
Yes.
I see
Yeah.
guys with programs where there's been no coaching change, there's been nothing, and they get waivers. Yet when Mark Adams spits on Jalen Tyson, they have to get into some kind of meeting and actually like decide, and they initially reject it.
Yeah.
Like, that was a mess. That was an absolute mess. He should have
Yeah.
gotten a waiver immediately. There should have been nothing. That was,
hmm
yeah, but it's the consistency that I have an issue with.
Yeah, I
And
mean, my personal take on the thing is that everyone should get a one-time transfer. Like you can do that, and then for the second-time transfer, if you was a coaching change, you can play right away, and that's it. Like there's no need to leave a door open because stuff like this is gonna happen. It's kind of like it's I don't know. I feel like the NCAA is not moving in a positive direction with everything that's happened. Like it's gonna get way out of control because like are
yeah, it
people
is.
gonna are people gonna enter the portal this year and be able to do two-time transfer, or is it just gonna same thing happen again? Or I think it's also not a good idea just to let every two-time transfer play because like I mean obviously well first of all it's gonna be hard for these guys to graduate while doing that there's just so many issues that the NCAA is just forcing upon themselves. So yeah, it's been out of hand. It's not moving in a great direction. But like most of the ones that were like people were mad about is because of a coaching change. And like those would all be limited. Like Raekwon Battle would have been able to play from the start. Like Aziz Bandaga would have been able to play from the start. Like that guy from North Carolina, the wide receiver,
I
he would
found
have
a
been able
quote.
to
Oh
play
man,
from the
this is
start.
going to be good. Just found out football went to no sitting out for a second transfer. Basketball is next, and the last thing that will be adopted are trades during the season. But there will be a trade deadline of January 15th with the IDK symbol and the face palm emoji.
Yeah, it's
You can kind of see where it's going to go. Like, and it's just you worry that it's going to get out of control. And I can see it, like, certainly. And that's what we both worry about, I think.
yeah. So let's
You
go to
should have
big.
sat out this season after transferring from Iona to St. John's. That's funny.
Yeah, but let's go to the Big Ten now. Obviously, Purdue is probably the best team in the country, or at least one of the best teams in the country, and easily the best team in the conference. I mean, Edie's elite. Braden Smith is like one of the best players in the country. Like, I mean, not like one of the best players, but like one of the top like 20 to 30 best players,
For
which
sure.
has been like outstanding. He's kind of doing what people thought Tyrese Proctor would.
Mhm.
But yeah, outside of that, I would have Illinois too, but I have no idea what is going on with Terrence
We both
Shannon.
have them there.
Say he ends up playing, I would have him at 2. If he doesn't, I think there's still like a decent team if he doesn't play. Like obviously he
Yeah, Marcus
first team All
Domask has been
American,
really good.
but like Guerrier has been good. Um, Luke Goody, they've been getting some decent run out of him. Like Hawkins hasn't really hit that. Marquez has
Domask
been a
has
little
been their
injured, but
best
yeah,
guy outside of him.
Damask has been good. Gary has been really good too.
Mm.
Um, like Ty Rogers has been decent. Not really like the point guard, but like he's been kind of a decent player. Um, yeah, Goody's been good. So I
I
think
think
they're still fine, but
I think
like
we
they're
should play it safe and assume that he's out.
yeah. So if he's out, I would have them below the tier. Like I would obviously Purdue first, and I would have Illinois second, but then I would think I would move.
I'd move Wisconsin up to two.
Yeah, I was gonna say that, but like, is Wisconsin? Are we really gonna have Wisconsin in second? Like,
It's the Big Ten.
um, Wisconsin's not bad though. They have a good
They're good.
assortment of guys.
I
Like, they
think
have a good lineup. Like, a lot. Every guy they have really like does like it's a good good mix
that
of guys. Like
freshman who broke
good
out has been a big reason
good
for
some parts.
why
Yeah,
the
John
Bills.
Blackwell has been really good.
Um,
AJ Store's really been putting up buckets when he's played. Still don't really understand the fit, but like it's kind of working. So
yeah, it's doing enough.
not gonna criticize it. Um, after them, I'd
I just
probably
know
have
what I'm going to
Michigan
get out
State.
of Wisconsin most
Yeah,
games. Like that's why I put them to
yeah, yeah. But
consistency in this conference is a premium. We will say that. So at two, we'll have them. At three, I'm gonna go with Ohio State.
Okay, I'd have them
Out
at 4
of
in
three,
under this new situation.
but this new situation here, yeah, I think they have a lot offensively. They can bring
Yes.
a lot on defense with Okpara as well,
Mm-hmm.
being a real force at the rim.
Yes.
Yeah, they
Throwing
have
in
a lot.
Gale been awesome.
Yeah,
Like that's, I
we
mean,
were
that's
we
kind
were
of
correct in buying Ohio State stock. We were very right,
yes.
I think.
Jameson Battle has been like good again.
That
He's not
perfect
been like
role.
the least
That, now
efficient
I will
player
say that
ever.
Penn State loss was, I think, very fluky. They were up like
Yeah, that just,
then they
I
started to
mean,
settle for perimeter jumpers. We did not deserve to win that game at all. They just fell asleep for the last 10 minutes, and we started to have our first good shooting game of the year. So that happened. And I think they'll be fine. I think they can recover from that, even though that may not look the best on their resume. They have enough good wins to where I think that should be okay.
yeah. Zedke has been good too in his like new kind of
I
6-man
like the role.
role.
Yeah.
Um, then I mean I'd have Michigan State before, and I think Michigan State has turned a corner now. Quite
I think
frankly,
Michigan State's at four. I need to see them against Indiana State before I.
yes, I agree. But like I think obviously that game is going to be really interesting game to see moving forward. But like I think they're turning a corner and like kind of getting back to
They'll do enough. I think they'll
where
do
we
enough to be
thought they'd
top
be.
four. For sure.
Then I'd have Illinois after that. Then,
Yeah.
um,
Okay. We can put them at 5.
Taking out, I think they're still a good team, maybe top 25, maybe just outside. Tournament team, yeah, but they're not a contender to really do much.
They'll be like another 8 or 9 like they always are. Ugh.
Then in my personal rankings, I think there's a two-team tier of Nebraska and Michigan. After that, both teams that like haven't been amazing, but like
I'm
have
actually gonna
been
put Nebraska at 5, Illinois at 6. Yeah,
okay.
I think
Yeah,
Nebraska is a little bit better than a Terrence Shannon and Liz,
yeah,
Illinois. They got really good guards. They're pretty good on both ends. I like Nebraska a lot this year.
yeah, yeah. I do too. They should have won that Minnesota game. No, like that would have been.
That's gonna be an
They
annoying
had
one.
that game and then they
And
completely
it's kind of annoying that Kansas
gave it
State
away.
isn't really good, or that win would be more,
Yeah. Um,
even though that was an impressive
the
win.
Michigan State one's looking better though, so I
That is true.
at least they're kind
That,
of
that
getting
was really
something.
good.
Um, hopefully Rink Mass is healthy soon.
Mhm.
I don't think he's supposed to be out for a super long
Yeah,
time,
I
but
didn't think
he's
it was
been
that
like an all
serious.
Big 12, Big 10 guy, so
He's been good.
having him back as soon as possible would be good. Let's see. Yeah. So I mean, Northwestern's kind of in that tier as well. With like Michigan, I think Michigan has been good enough to where they're like better than like the just like bad to mid to bad teams. So yeah, I
Yeah,
had
see, I
Michigan and
think
Northwestern.
Michigan's better than those teams, but like they
Yeah.
don't play near the defense those teams do. And I think that's just
Yeah.
Northwestern's just going to be able to neutralize them, like they do with a lot of
Yeah.
teams.
In Northwestern, I mean, yeah, they also have Boo Booey,
Um,
who's elite. Um,
Let me pull up my.
yeah.
This conference is an absolute mess this year.
Yeah.
I think I had Rutgers actually at 7. Out of all
Rutgers
those
is not
teams,
that good.
well, who do you trust? Well, like, I don't trust a Jawan Michigan team over a Steam Pikel coach team. I just
But
don't.
like Rutgers is not a good
Rutgers
team.
has pieces that haven't woken up yet and have played as good as I think they will. I think a lot of that is Derek
Yeah.
Simpson. I think Gavin Griffiths can be better. Um, I think they've gotten decent minutes out of Jamichael Lewis. And
Jermichael
I
Davis. I
Davis,
think
yeah.
his name. He's been pretty like good as a freshman now.
Yeah, I
I'll
think
say that.
Noah will be a little bit better. I just think
Yeah.
there's a little more reasons for optimism with them than
I
other.
mean, they can't really get much worse on offense.
Yeah,
And
no,
they
exactly.
still have a really good defense. So like if they get better on offense, but we'll have to
And
sadly
Mag
figure
has been
out.
really weird since coming back, so they're gonna need to figure that out too.
Yeah, I mean
I
it's
think he's pretty
kind of
important.
expect that coming back from an
But yeah,
injury.
of course.
Yeah.
Then after Rutgers, oh gosh, what do I do?
Everyone is like kind of in the same tier, like
It's gonna be like last
Maryland,
year. It's gonna be
Maryland,
exactly.
like Iowa, maybe Minnesota. You can throw them in there. I think Penn State's last right now. Like I don't think you
Yeah,
can. I don't really think you can put anyone above them with like how
I
like
think Iowa's been really bad. I don't think Iowa's been good at all. I have
yeah
Iowa
they haven't
last.
really. I mean they're kind of in the same situation as Michigan, where like they have a really good offense, but their defense is really bad.
Yeah, yeah. Um, so I think at 8, who did I even have? I think I put
Yeah,
Northwestern there.
yeah.
Just because of their defense, just because of Bo Buie. I do like Langberg. I do like Barnheiser, and that's
Bernheiser I do really like, especially he's
um
a can really go two-way player.
yeah. So I put them at 8. At 9, man, I almost want to put Minnesota
Indiana, I
there.
guess, in that tier too.
Uh,
Yeah, it doesn't really
we'll
matter
go
too
with
much when we get
Indiana
to
at
this point.
9, and
Yeah,
I don't want to give myself a headache over this.
yeah. Let's move on. But yeah, everyone's kind of in the same like position right now down there. So we'll see what happens. Minnesota's like okay though. Like
Yeah, Minnesota has
they've
looked better than I
improved.
thought they would.
Yeah, I will say
Honestly,
that. We'll see.
they could find themselves being better than a couple of those basement teams. I will
Yeah,
say.
for sure. I mean, I think they're better than Penn State right
I
now.
think they're better than Iowa, Penn State, and
Maybe Iowa. Iowa's like still been really good in offense. So like, also I think
who
they're
do you
still like a
trust
decent
more to
team.
get a stop on defense, Minnesota or Iowa?
I mean, we're not. Who do you trust more to score on offense?
Minnesota's been scoring a ball.
Not as good as
I
Iowa.
mean, yeah.
They've been good, but they've also been turning over decently high, right? and Iowa, like I was really good at not turning over the ball.
That's true.
So I
They don't
guess
beat
you kind of,
themselves.
yeah, that's enough Big Ten talk. SEC
They
is the last power conference we have, and I think Tennessee is clearly the one. Like I think they're pretty. I have them pretty confidently at one right now. Would you agree
haven't
with
they
that
dealt with
statement?
like some injuries though too? Like
Um, Neck Connect has been a
back.
little hurt. I
Yeah, I know
think
he's kind of hurt.
that could impact things, but like I think they're still really good. I mean,
Oh, of
last year
course.
they were basically the same team, but without him, and we're still like
I
elite,
have
at
them
least
one. I just
defensively.
don't think it's by an enormous
Yeah, I
margin.
don't think it's enormous, but like I think you can confidently say you have
Yeah,
them one.
yeah, I don't. Although at two, I will have Auburn, and I think they're going to give Tennessee the best game of
Yeah,
anyone in the
there
conference.
are a lot of good teams in that mix. Like Kentucky has been pretty good. You can put them like even though Alabama doesn't have a good record, like they still have the best offense in the country. If their defense can improve, like they've already played so tough of a schedule. They haven't gotten really any great wins. I mean, they beat Indiana State, which isn't really that much. It was without Robbie Abla too, so not really huge accomplishment there. But like same time, they still played an extremely tough schedule. They've still looked like they haven't like just been completely embarrassing in any of their losses. So
I
like
tend to disagree. Their lack of defense is just embarrassing.
yeah, but like
Look,
they've been in every game.
it's one thing to
They've been
let
in
up
every game,
80 to
which is
85 points, but it's how, like, on defense, what you see with your eyes can tell a lot. They don't box
yeah.
out. They don't do
No,
a
yeah.
lot of the fundamentals that are going to cost them SEC games.
Yeah, I mean outside of Wagi and
They need to start doing
Pringle who
those
foul
things.
out in like 2 seconds, they don't have really
Their
much.
offense is great though, but like they're asking a
Yeah.
lot out of Sears. They're asking a lot.
Yeah, Sears has been like so elite shooting the ball and like how much is that gonna stand for? But like they also
Exactly, and
like have that
Nelson
like
against
they
good
have so many
comp has
good
not been
offensive
good.
pieces.
Like we've been over why I don't think he's going to be good in conference play because it's a physical conference and
Yeah,
it's
we'll
going to
see.
bother him. And that has been true so far. They're going to need someone else besides Sears to help with that scoring
Yeah, I
load.
mean Estrada's been good. Like Nelson, I mean
Mhm.
Nelson should not try to be a 3-point shooter. Like if he just like kind of like he's a good player, but he's trying to be a shooter this year. Like he's taken 59 threes so far. Like
He's a bit soft inside. I don't
why
know.
has he taken 59 threes? Like he's just not a shooter. Like
Right, I agree with
you want
that.
him like I mean you can have him shooting some threes, but you want him like driving to the rim, drawing contact. Like he's
I want him in the
been
post. He's a big dude. I think he
yeah,
can
but like he
go
you
with
want
those
him as
push.
like a versatile like four like where he can like you
Well, you
want him to
gotta
like
mix
shoot,
up
but like
post
you also
touches, like you can't just have them play out there. Like especially with
yeah
guys, they need some scoring down low because they don't have any if he's not scoring the ball.
no they don't really
Wagyu's not a scorer. Like they
no he's been good on defense when he hasn't been fouling though.
Wagyu's good on D, probably their best interior defender.
Yeah, 100%. But yeah,
I have
Rytel's
my
been good
concerns with
perimeter
him.
defender, but like that's all they have perimeter defensive wise.
So
And
yeah, I
he
have
yeah.
Auburn too.
Yeah,
Um,
I'd probably have Kentucky too. It's close, so like all those teams, like Texas A&M is kind of in that mix as well. Like they've
I
been,
just think Auburn's older. They're better on
yeah,
defense.
I do like Auburn.
Um,
Um,
I just think with Kentucky putting them at two is bold. They haven't played a road game yet, really, a true road game at all. They're going to get their first one in a week at Florida, which I think is going to be a huge test for
yes,
them.
that will be a very good game.
Very telling about where Kentucky might go in the early
Yes.
stages of SEC play. I just think Kentucky's going to get in one of those droughts that's going to keep them out of the two spot. But then they'll figure things out and then be pretty good and I think be like a top
Yeah,
four SEC.
I could see that.
I just think they're going to get into a funk at some point.
Yeah,
We're going to go with Auburn at two, and then at three, I have there?
you
Florida.
could
I have
Florida
Florida
3.
there. Then I have Kentucky at four.
Okay.
Or wait, no, I had Ole Miss at. I mean, no, not Ole
No,
Miss,
no,
not Ole
no.
Miss, definitely not Ole Miss. Mississippi State at four.
Okay.
At
They've had
five.
some ups and downs, but have been playing better recently. Elite defense still. their offense has been like not completely terrible like they were last year. So yeah, I would agree. Josh
Yeah,
Hubbard's
no, I
one of
think
the
with
elite.
Tolu, I think they're going to be really, really good. If
Yes.
he comes back and is even decently normal, I think that'll be enough. I
And
trust
like
their
Jimmy
guards
Bell is
enough.
so good. Like if Toe
He's
isn't
nuts.
100%, like it'll be fine.
Right, exactly. Their interior defense and just defense in general is just going to be so tough. It's going to be tough
Yeah.
to win on the road at Mississippi State this year. And I think that's going to be a real home court advantage, where it
Hmm.
hasn't been in years past. So I'm going to have them at 4, Kentucky at 5. Then at 6, I think I have Ole Miss
Eh,
actually there.
Ole
Yes.
Miss isn't gonna be better than like Alabama and A&M.
I'm not impressed. I know A&M's been banged up. I know they just
But like
haven't
they've
been
still been like kind of good. Like they did not
offensively.
lose to,
They've
they
been
almost beat
way better.
Houston. Like
Um,
Wade Taylor has been really good. I mean, he's a little like not super efficient, but like when you look at the shots he's taking, like it kind of makes sense. He's still like a really good defender, still a really good passer. Like I think you kind of have to live with his shot selection and like he's still like a
I
borderline
think part of it right
All-American.
now is they don't have Radford really.
Yeah, he's been kind of in and out with like injury,
So
sickness,
Wade
that
Taylor's been
stuff.
forced to take a lot of shots because they don't have
Which, yeah, I mean, Wade Taylor's probably going to be taking those shots
the issue
anyway.
with A&M
Radford's,
right now is they've lost their personality. They're not like very good defensively right
I
now. It's
mean, there's,
weird.
I mean, their thing is kind of like being an offensive rebounding team now, which they're just elite at.
Yeah, it's like
Like, I
it's the
think
polar opposite of
that's kind of their
last
thing
year.
now.
Like if
Well,
they can
last year they were like better on defense, but like they were still like an
if
offensive
they can play
rebounding
both
team.
ends consistently, then I'll have them higher. It's
Yeah,
just
their
they haven't been
defense
able to
has
do
been
that
questionable, but their offense has been better this year.
for
Um,
sure. It
Henry
has.
Coleman, when playing, has I mean he only missed like one
My
game,
thing with
but
A&M, like
he's been
the last
amazing.
2 to 3 years, honestly, since they've had Henry Coleman, when they get Henry Coleman the ball more, is when they are
He has been
great.
so good this year. He needs to get more touches. I
See,
definitely agree with that.
2 years ago,
Um,
I thought he was their best player for a while, but then they don't use him, and then I feel like my agenda is dead because they don't give him the ball. Um,
Solomon Washington has been elite on defense.
he's a thug, but yeah, I
Yeah, he's
digress.
made some questionable plays this year, as has Anderson Garcia has been really good in defense. There's absolutely nothing in offense, but you can live with that when he does so good on defense, crashes the boards, does all that fun stuff.
Yeah, I feel like there's some regression inbound for them, and I think Ole Miss is going to be really tough at home. I think their
Ole
offense
Miss
is
has not
burnt.
been like good this year though. Like
I
they
mean, you can
just
say
haven't
that,
been.
but then like since they've gotten their eligible guys back, they have been better. Like they were really rough
I
early
mean, they
on,
haven't played anyone since they got those guys though.
but they've beaten teams like convincingly since they got them back. They beat Troy by now. Look, if this was early season Ole Miss, they would have lost to
They've
Troy.
been better, but like they still like they've moved up two
Will you
spots
say
in
this,
Ken Palm.
Austin? What would this the early season Ole Miss version team would they have lost to Troy? They would have. They beat
It
them
would
by
have been
20.
closer. It would have been
I
closer.
mean, they beat Detroit Mercy by 1, Sam
Yeah,
Houston
that
State
was
by 1.
by three.
Yeah,
Temple
they
by one. Like,
Troy is better than all three of those teams. Like
I mean they're yeah,
probably. I mean, they're right there. I mean,
yeah, with like Sam Houston and Temple,
they
but
look
like
and Southern Miss was
yeah,
supposed to be pretty
they've been
decent.
better, but like I'm still not willing to say they're like a top half team in the comp. I don't know though.
Their
Like
offense has been really good
they've
since they've gotten guys back. Like
it's
they've
been
four
better.
guys like that really break field. Juju Murray's been good all year.
Yeah, is there
Really
regression coming there though?
surprising.
Because like he wasn't even good at St. Peter's.
Yeah, I guess he's found a system. Breakfield's been
Definitely a better
awesome.
like fit though. Like he's not doing everything like he kind of was forced to, and he was like
Matt
so
Morrell has
inefficient.
been
But
awesome. Alan
yeah,
Flanagan's been way better. And then Caldwell's been good. Brandon Murray's played in 3 games. Cisse and Sharp give you great rim protection. I
yeah,
wish Nunez would play more. I don't know if he's
yeah.
hurt.
He's been doing like nothing even when he
He
does
doesn't even
play.
play. He played 13
I
minutes
thought
against
he'd be really good.
Rutgers.
I liked him at Arizona
I
State,
did
so
too. He
I'm still
looked good.
buying. I'm still keeping a little bit of stock for the
Keep
future
tabs
though.
on him. Yeah.
Um,
So all of
I
them at
still
6.
don't think this team is like. I mean, like they're gonna make the tournament because Chris Beard is such a good coach, and they're gonna start
Yeah,
playing better.
too.
But like
Yeah. You
I
know,
think there's still like a limit.
and they're not gonna, they're not gonna completely play down. Well, they did do that earlier in the season, but I think they're gonna
Yeah.
avoid the trap games, which some
I
other teams
mean,
might
the
not.
only trap game they really have I mean, they have
True,
Bryant as a trap game, but like that could be interesting. They have like Vanderbilt though. They only play Vanderbilt at home, so that's
that's good.
yeah. I guess yeah, we'll see.
So yeah, then at 7 I have A&M, and then at 8 I will go. Oh, at 8 I'll go Alabama. 9 I have Arkansas. And then 10 I have South Carolina.
Yeah,
I've
that's
been
fair.
very moved with South Carolina, and then I think after them I Georgia. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then after that I have Mizzou,
Yeah.
and then
I personally do have
LSU.
LSU ahead of Mizzou just because I think like they're gonna be better with Jalen Cook back.
Oh yeah, we'll do that. We'll go LSU, Mizzou,
But
Vanderbilt. I
those
can
yeah,
agree
look
there.
better. Yeah. Let's see. Arkansas is not that good. Like
No, man, they're not. Like,
and the
remember
thing
when we were
is
so concerned to start the year about them, and then we started to buy in a little bit,
and the
before the
thing
season
is
started,
like
and
they've been
everything came true.
bad. They've been bad like with Khalif Battle and Tremont Mark being like elite. Like and they've
That's
still
what's
been
really
bad.
concerning.
Definitely want Devo to play better. I think that can happen. But like I don't know. I mean
I
Brazil's
don't
been
think
good
Keon
too. Like
Menningfield is this antidote either. Like, they haven't really
I
looked great
mean,
from back
no, he's
either.
not like some super savior, but at the same time, I do think higher of Arkansas with Minifield than without.
Yeah,
He can really run an offense. Yeah,
they got a big test on Saturday against UNC Wilmington, so that's going to be
yeah,
fun.
it is going to be a test. UNC Wilmington obviously
Because
beat
they have
Kentucky
not looked
earlier
good
this
against
year.
mid majors this year at all. Like, they played Lipscomb down to the
Mm,
last possession. They've lost to
mm.
UNCG.
They were keeping it close with Abilene Christian for a while.
Yeah, that they didn't
Um,
look great in that either.
they
Old
kept
Dominion
it close with Old
tough.
Dominion for a while. So yeah,
They need a convincing win here.
I don't like
They won't
them.
they won't get a
Um,
convincing win
And
here.
like they'll be better in late season because they're coached by Musk, but like I don't know that there's like as much potential for this team to like break out.
Well,
Like they don't have the NBA players
and I will say
outside of
this, they
maybe
haven't
Brazil.
shown like any defensive flashes really all year. Like, they gave
No,
up
like
70, giving up
yeah,
73 to Abilene Christian's like giving up 90 to a normal team. Like,
yeah,
that's
like
not
they've
good.
been elite on defense when Musk has had his good teams, and yeah, they're not
They
elite
haven't
on
shown that
defense this
flash
year.
like Trey, and it's really starts with Traven Brazil. Like, he has not been
Yeah,
a
I mean he's been
force.
good though. Like yeah,
Um,
like he's kind of
Defensively,
currently
he's
like
lacked that presence that he had at
yeah.
Mizzou, where he was really good as a
I
rim,
mean he's kind of a good rim protector, but at the same time he's
just
been
not
like,
engaged all the way,
yeah.
right? Like,
I mean,
body
like
language is not.
injuries like his ACL injury, like those can,
They affect that for
yeah,
sure.
like not just like his play on the court, which has been good, but like his like mentality, that sort of stuff.
And offensively, he hasn't been involved as much as I thought too. Like, there's been that as well. But when you have Khalif Battle on your team, when you have Tremont Mark on your team, you're not going to get a ton of looks because they're too busy, and they've been good. But I think the Mark games where he's not shooting well are coming.
Yeah, he was
Um,
never a good like shooter
and
at
he's
Houston.
kind of
Like,
slowed down recently a little bit. He hasn't been as
yeah,
good, and it's been hurting them when he's not playing well. Like, he did not play
yeah,
well against Oklahoma. I remember that was a really bad game. I think maybe you played better last couple, but the fact that they're relying on Tremont Mark to play well is not good. That is
yeah,
not good. So
yeah.
L. Ellis has been like a complete. He's been hurt, I think, but
He was never that good.
yeah, exactly.
Let's be honest there. Yeah, but let's run through some mid-major conferences. Let's run through the Mountain West. We can save a little time on these, but I will say the top four in the Mountain West will be very fun to watch. I mean, the whole conference is fun to watch, but the Colorado State, San Diego State, New Mexico, and Nevada, those four will be really fun to watch. I could see any of these teams winning the conference. I probably would have New Mexico now, but like any of these four teams would not surprise me too much if they won the conference.
Mhm.
Utah State has been really good too. Only one loss in overtime this season to Bradley when Bradley was good. They kind of suck now, but
Yeah, they've fallen off.
Boise State, like they always seem to play
They
really good in
always turn it
conference play.
around. They had their magic spell, and I think maybe one of these years that magic's gonna run out, and I kind of see it.
Yeah, but they're going to be better. Like they're good. They're going to be competitive. I
Of course,
feel
they'll be
pretty
in every
confident
game.
saying that. UNLV is going to be start playing better. They killed Hofstra last game out. They're
Much
definitely
better since both
making,
Boons have played.
yes, definitely turning corner going upwards. The bottom teams we don't really need to
Let
talk
me see your
about.
standings. You know mine. I mean, I can go over
Yeah.
mine.
Well, I'll just go over mine real. So I had New Mexico at 1. I think I'd have Colorado State 2. I'd have San Diego State 3, Nevada 4, probably Utah State 5. I mean, pretty similar to like how the teams have been this year. Maybe
Mhm.
Boise 5. I kind of trust Boise more in conference play, but Utah State has also been really good this year. So those teams can kind of go 5 and 6. I think UNLV could sneak up there though. Like I
I think
just
they're
don't know.
5. I have UNLV pretty high.
Yeah, and then the bottom 4, like, I don't really care about. I like Wyoming a little bit more than some of those teams. I like their potential more, but, like, I don't really care a lot about, like, San Jose, Fresno, or Air Force, but all those teams have, like, a guy or 2 that's really good.
I think
Um,
Wyoming will be better with Mason Walters, though.
yeah, he's been back
He's
past
been
few
pretty good.
games. Um, they do play at BYU in a few days. They might lose by, like, a million because BYU does that to teams,
At
but,
home, especially.
yeah.
Everyone seems to get killed at the
There's
Marriott.
gonna be a lot of good games in this conference. New Mexico at Colorado State is like Tuesday,
Mm-hmm.
so that's gonna be a
Kicks off
good
conference
one.
play. Oh
That's gonna be
gosh.
a really good one.
UNLV has to
Yeah,
play like every good team the first 6 weeks. So we're gonna see a lot
yeah,
about UNLV really
yeah.
quickly.
We will see, but they do have a few non D1 games to get them ready for that. So we'll
It's
see.
tough.
Hopefully they don't lose one. No, that would be bad. Yeah. Do we want to quick talk about the A10? Definitely a little bit more of a good conference this year. Definitely a lot better than last year. We can say that for sure. Dayton has been good. I think they've clearly established themselves as a team to beat in this
Probably.
conference.
Unfortunately.
Um, I know you're not a big fan of Dayton, but they have a
They
good
probably
resume. I mean, their only two
guys like
losses
Kobe
are
Brea have been shooting the absolute lights out of the ball.
Yeah, their only two losses are to Northwestern on the road and Houston, which wasn't like a complete blow, which is encouraging. I mean, they've beaten like St. John's neutral. They won at SMU. They won basically at Cincinnati. I think it's technically a neutral game, but
I think that Cincinnati game might be their most impressive win with how handedly they won that game. They were up by like
yeah,
20 game. And
yeah,
it was kind of in Cincinnati, although Dayton's fans travel way better. Um, but still, I think that was a really impressive win.
yes.
Um,
I wish we would have Malachi Smith healthy, but that's never gonna
yeah,
happen at this point.
um,
Nate Santos has been really good. Obviously, you
somehow.
mentioned Kobe Bryant just like doesn't miss this year. But yeah,
So yeah, I'll probably
Santos, really
unfortunately
good
have
get.
them at 1. Then at 2, I'm gonna put oh gosh.
I St. Joe's, but like I don't trust St. Joe's. Like
Exactly. So I'm gonna go with
there's just
George Mason.
I like it. I like it. I like
I'm
George
gonna go with
Mason.
George Mason, man. Like George Mason is good, dude. Like
Yeah.
they look the part
Tony Skinn is a better coach than Kim English. That's what it
defensively.
goes
They have
down
looked
to.
the part. Defensively, they've great
Absolutely.
tricks.
They've been good on both sides, honestly.
And
Pretty solid, well rounded team
on offense,
overall.
they're
Like
just gonna
for where
improve.
they are. Like
Like
they've
on
been
offense, they're definitely going to just improve. They haven't gotten everyone clicking yet. Keyshawn Hall has been awesome. He has really lost a ton of weight actually.
yeah, he
He is
looks
a
like
quick
completely
start.
different than when I remember watching him in high
Like
school.
he was huge at UNLV. He was like a power forward. Now
Mm,
he's like on the perimeter, just taking guys off the dribble. I love
yeah.
it. Like this is what I like to see. Maddox hasn't fully. I mean, he's shown flashes this year for sure. Ronald Polite's been great. He's been
Yeah.
pretty steady all year. Amari
Amari Kelly has
has
been really
been
good.
really awesome. I mean,
Okoji's been promising for a freshman.
isn't Okoji hurt now? I think he's been out.
Um,
He should be
That's
back.
Malik Henry might be the one that's hurt on the team.
Yeah, and then they get what's his name from ETSU back any day now.
Is he
I
gonna play
think he's
this year
gonna
though? Like
play. He's been
you think
hurt.
that would have happened though if it did?
I
But
saw in an
we'll
injury
see.
report he's actually hurt with a minor
Oh,
injury.
so like okay, so that would be interesting if he like decides to play because he
Because I
could
think
still
if there's one
could.
thing where George Mason's kind of weak right now, it's power forward and like center depth.
I
They need
mean, yeah. I
he's
mean,
like a
hopefully, I
four.
don't know what Malik Henry's status is.
He's supposedly back too.
Oh, okay. So I mean, Keyshawn Hall like still plays those positions.
Yeah, it's just they need more help on the glass.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, Amari Kelly's been great, but like they don't really have a second guy, especially when Henry isn't healthy.
Woody Newton's
Woody
been
Newton has
actually
been
pretty
good, but
solid.
he's more of a 4-3 as opposed to a 4-5.
Exactly.
But
Right.
yeah, looking at the conference as a whole, like, don't really want to waste too much time on standings because it's like so close. But like, you
Yeah,
look at
we
teams
could.
like St.
You're splitting
Bonaventure,
hairs, really. This whole
St.
conference.
Bonaventure, like St. Joe's, VCU, Duquesne, like Richmond has been kind of good this year. Like
Splitting
even
hairs with
UMass
all.
has really improved. Like
UMass has looked.
Davidson and Loyola
UMass
Chicago
looks
don't
what we thought they
completely
would look
suck.
like last year. Like
Yeah, like
UMass has been really weird. They've been
UMass
good.
is good. Like
Rasul Diggins has learned how to play basketball, ladies and gentlemen. He's been pretty
finally,
good. Their guards have really looked the part.
for
They've
sure.
gotten help. And then Cross and Cohen. Cohen is so good, dude. Like at any level, that
Yeah,
he is just he is a legitimate player. It doesn't matter where you play, man.
yeah. I
He's gonna
mean,
give you
yeah.
buckets.
And their teams are like loyal, like they've been up and down, but like they could still beat like any one of these teams in any given night. They're still very talented. Um,
Yeah, I don't know what they'll
I
find.
I
Rhode
want Drew
Island.
Valentine to be
Remember
good. Like
we were high on Rhode Island a couple weeks ago. Now they might.
they were good, and then now they're like not. They just like hit a wall. But I still like Archie. Still think he'll get it figured out. But they've been bad
Scoring the
recently.
ball has been rough. Yeah.
Um, yeah. But yeah, like I really want to like Drew Valentine. Like I really want him to be good.
A team actually might be pretty
He
good
seems
once
fun.
someone comes back is St. Louis. I think Sincere Parker, once he comes back, he's a
Mm,
broken foot. He is their best player.
they have a bad defense. Like
They do.
he would help, but like I don't think he's helping it enough.
Yeah.
When
He
you
is
see
their
it.
best player, I feel like by a wide margin.
Yeah, I mean they don't have like
Good.
I mean Hargrove is
Before he got
decent.
hurt, man. Oh.
Jimerson's gonna score the ball, but yeah, they're
And they
not
got
that good.
Ezewiro back. It's been very
That's been
positive
pretty
for them.
decent.
Since
GW is like not terrible either. They
yeah,
have
they'll be sneaky. They'll be in the
yeah, I
middle of
mean
the
they have some
conference.
guys. Obviously, Bishop hasn't been amazing, but like he's gonna really fill it up. Edwards has been good
That's
too.
what's been
Like
really encouraging. Bishop hasn't been amazing. They've had
Buchanan has been
freshmen.
really good.
Freshmen's really helped them
Mhm.
out, man. Buchanan's been great.
Garrett
Edwards,
Johnson.
Garrett Johnson. Who
Like
else they
those two guys, like Buchanan and Johnson, like both of them are freshman eligibility wise, but like they're not like true
Mhm.
freshmen. So like that's really gonna help out. And they do have a few true freshmen like Jacoy Hutchinson and Trey Autry who have give some
Who's
decent
been pretty
minutes.
good is Auburn legend Babu Akinwumi.
Babatunde Akingbola, he's been a beast on
Rim
rim
protecting beast. He's
protection.
set a single game record with 14
Yeah,
blocks this year.
it was 11, but
Oh, yeah, I know it was
against
a
Navy,
crazy amount.
he's still solely on defensive end.
So they just play at a really fast pace. That's why their defense definitely their pace dictates their defense. He's cut right from the Miami tree.
Yes.
Perimeter defense wise, they don't play a lot, so
Yeah.
that's where they definitely struggle. But they'll give teams a problem if they're shooting the ball pretty well.
Yes. Quick run through the AAC now. FAU and Memphis is going to be everything is hyped up to be, and
Mhm.
after that, SMU is I think SMU is clearly number 3. I think they've separated themselves, and after that, just anyone's game. I mean,
Yeah, I
I
mean, I
like
did
North
have Tulane three
Texas.
before the George Mason game. Yeah,
Yeah, I like North Texas. I like Tulane. Like, there's just so many teams in that like range. Like Wichita, Charlotte, like South Florida. I think East Carolina is due to play better.
Mhm.
UAB can't get much worse. Tulsa has been sort of decent. Like all of those teams just have like so many. range of outcomes.
Yeah,
Like
there's really only
even
three
like
bad
Rice has
teams in the
talent.
conference. Like it's
Yeah,
Temple, Rice, and UTSA.
Temple, UTSA is just like a whole nother
Oh,
level of bad.
awful.
Nothing really else to say about the conference. So like FAU and Memphis is going to be much watch TV, and like the teams in the middle are going to really provide for some good matchups. But like
Yeah.
that's just
The
kind
teams
of
in the middle, I will say they score the ball. You got Tulane, you got SMU. They play fun offense. They're gonna run. They're gonna put up points.
yes. Missouri Valley, we can hit this real quick now. Another conference is going to be really fun.
Hey,
Don't know how all these teams
change
are going
your
to
little pick
finish.
there, bud. No Drake at one.
But like, yeah, I do have Indiana State at one now, but like Drake is still what I've expected him to be. Like Drake has not been bad by any means.
No, of
Like
course.
Drake has been
Drake's been
just
great.
fine.
I
Indiana
don't
State has
disagree
been
with you.
so elite. Indiana State, Josh Shirts, like I know it's like been a pretty common theme and like throughout like college basketball media, like they're all hyping up Josh Shirts, but like he needs a high major job. He can win anywhere.
His offenses
He
have been
was
beautiful for years. That's what
elite at
people don't
D2.
understand,
He's
right? Like,
really stepping into his mark in D1 at Indiana State. Yeah, obviously we alluded to the big matchup at Michigan State coming up on Saturday, but yeah, like Robbie Avila has been elite. He's just like a insanely skilled
the
big,
offense runs through.
can shoot it, can pass it. You have Isaiah Swope and Ryan Conwell, two guards who have been efficient at scoring the ball. Like they just have some solid guys. Aaron Gray's back. He hasn't been
Oh,
playing a ton, but like
oh,
that's a piece that
no.
could see some more minutes as the season goes by.
Yeah, no, you're
Um,
valid for number one. I agree. I'm on board now too.
their roster just, but like
I
Drake
thought
has
they were a
been,
little bit better last year, but I was wrong. I think we
yeah,
both didn't think
yeah.
they'd be as good, but
I think Drake is a clear two. I don't really
yeah,
see how
they're
you can't
clear.
have Drake two unless you have them at one, but
Bradley's
like they're definitely closer to Indiana State than anyone else.
Bradley showed so much promise early in
Bradley's
the
been
year,
bad
and
recently.
they've just not. They were playing Truman State today and were struggling early on too. So just I don't offensively they've hit the
Yeah.
ball. That's what's happened. They can't score the ball.
I think Bradley's gonna like not even be like in the top like five
There's a
because
world where that happens, unfortunately.
Southern Illinois, like Xavier Johnson is like maybe an All
I don't
American.
really believe in Southern Illinois like everyone else
But like
because
Xavier
I
Johnson is so good. Like they don't really have
is
anything else, but like he's just
exactly
been good enough.
how much do you expect him to carry in conference play now? Like, could he do that? Like, I don't know. Like, could he carry them to a top three spot with that roster? Like,
I mean,
oh,
he's
I
been
don't
doing
know.
that. Like that's what he's been doing like all off season or all
But you got to do it for the
non-con.
grind of conference play on the
Like I
road.
mean,
I don't know.
he's giving him some decent ish wins. Like he's been
Yeah,
so elite though. Like
he has, man. He's
he's
been like a
one of,
top 5 point guard easily, if not
oh,
higher.
for sure. Like he's been so good scoring the ball. Like at
Efficiency has
such good
been
efficiency. He's been also like an elite passer in like the country too.
and like what a top three usage player probably in the country. I mean, he's got to be
He's
up
up
there.
there. Yeah.
I mean, they
Um,
don't have anything else besides Troy
yeah.
D'Amico. Oh,
Rupert's been decent.
Rupert's been solid,
I'll
but
say good in the boards, good defensively.
when they take him out of the games, though, it
Yeah.
gets ugly right away.
Jarrett Hensley is back. Like he's eligible now, which is
Okay.
also significant. Solid like
Yeah, I don't know
four
what that is.
five.
All
Was a
right.
good recruit. Hasn't really panned out, but like getting him eligible is big. Um, then I think you have like kind of Northern Iowa.
Northern Iowa's, yeah,
Um,
I don't want to buy into them completely as much as I want
yeah,
to.
I
I
kind of
know Cho is
agree.
in like three, but like defensively, you just
Missouri
don't.
State's really good too.
I
Like
think
I
Missouri State is the team that
really
people
like Missouri.
watch out for.
Yeah, I mean
Missouri
they just
State,
won at St.
great on both
Mary's.
ends. They're big. They play deep.
Yeah, I mean they're definitely stronger defensive team than
Yeah,
offensively, but
offense,
yeah,
they don't have outbursts unless, they're very bipolar on offense, admittedly. They'll
yeah,
have nights where they shoot the ball really well, though,
yes,
for sure.
yeah. They've had some. Austin Mason has been really good.
Yeah.
Donovan Clay is good. NJ Benson has been stepping into a big role, big man down low
Dana
sophomore has
Ford has
really
turned
built
into
him
a good
out.
coach since Isaiah Mosley left. Like he's been elevating
Yeah.
talent. He's been elevating rosters that I didn't think would be that good.
And I mean, you still kind of have to give some respect to Belmont too. I mean, they have the sophomore trio of Malik Dia,
I was very
Jacoby
high on them
Gillespie,
preseason.
and
Yeah,
Cade Tyson. Those three guys have all been so good this year. Even a
Belmont's
fourth
been
if
a
you want
little
to.
bipolar, but they have shown flashes,
Yeah.
which is important. You know, to see that they're capable of playing at that
Hmm.
level is
I
what
mean,
really.
they won at Northern Iowa by 20, so
Yeah,
that's
they annihilated them. So that's really good to see. If
yeah.
they can have those games where they can play like a top three team in the conference, it just needs to be consistent and they need to do it on the road and things like that. So they'll be,
USC has been a little up and down, but very strong defensive
yeah,
team.
UIC's been really down recently since the hot
Yeah,
start,
Toby Okani is
like
elite on
Bradley.
defense. Yeah, Bradley's still pretty solid. And when you talk about Evansville too, like
10-2.
they've been winning.
They
Ben
play
Hummerkaus is
Cincinnati next
so elite.
game on the road. That'll be interesting.
They're gonna lose that
Two
one.
10-2
They
teams.
they haven't they haven't yeah. Both teams have played nobody, but
Yeah.
Valpo is like so bad.
Oh,
Murray State's not. Murray State's and
they're weird.
Illinois
They're
State's
so
decent.
bipolar. You don't know
Murray
what
State is
Murray
like
State
been
you're gonna
bad,
get.
but like they have enough talent to where they could theoretically be good. They beat Bradley,
But then they lose
so
to SMU by 40 and look absolutely
at
awful.
home,
Then
yeah, that game
that
was
was
that game
awful.
was a big metrics win for SMU. They went up like 18 points, road win
I thought
by
Murray
that
State
many.
was gonna win.
No,
They just
all
looked
right.
so bad.
Well, yeah. Do you want to hit on the WCC and then call it there?
Yeah, WCC
Um,
is a little.
Gonzaga's definitely the best team. I mean, I think you can say that now.
Gonzaga hasn't really done a lot to
They
impress.
haven't, but no one in the conference. Like they've been the WCC has
But
been
then St.
down.
Mary's just had that recent trip mine at Missouri State. I thought St. Mary's was turning a corner. I really
Yeah,
did.
I always think that too because they
And
beat
what
Davidson by
happened?
like a million like back then, but like so like they're
Frustrating.
back. Then they lose to like Utah and Boise State, which aren't bad losses, but like those are ones
Games you
you
should
want to
win.
win. Then they beat Colorado State. I mean, I think they're still like more back than not, but like you really would have liked to beat
I
Missouri
don't think
State.
Gonzaga is as far ahead of them as people think,
No, I
but
don't.
I think they'll probably because Gonzaga wins games they're supposed to, and St. Mary's hasn't
Yeah.
so far. So
I will say San Francisco has been up there. Like they are clearly the third best team and way closer to the
clearly
top two than the rest of the bunch at this
they
point.
are. They are.
Like,
San Francisco offensively, I think needs to be a little more.
yeah,
I just think of that
but
Utah
yeah.
State game where they could not score the ball. They scored 53
Yes,
points.
that
Had
that
that game
was bad.
won. That was
But
frustrating.
they have an elite defense, and that's
They do.
headlined by Jonathan Mogbo. He is probably one of my favorite players in the country. He is so good. Like
Mhm.
he is
He
so
doesn't get talked
efficient.
about enough, man.
Yeah,
But he
like
doesn't
I
broke
was
it.
like the analytics people were all over him, including me in the offseason because his on-off splits from Missouri State last
Oh,
year
he was
were just
awesome at
like
Missouri
so
State.
drastic. Like they were so much better every time he was on the court. He's an elite rebounder, is a good passer for his size, and then you Marcus Williams has been really good, like being the premier scorer. Mongolian Mike
I'll
has
be
been
honest,
like
you might not
solid.
think about it, but like if there's a year, I mean, we say this every year, right? If there's a year where Gonzaga and St. Mary's look both extremely vulnerable, it's been this year.
Hmm.
Usually it's one of them look vulnerable, one of them looks good. Both of them look very suspect, I think to me. Even Gonzaga,
Yeah,
even in games against
I
good
agree.
comp.
I agree. I just think that St. Mary's has been like bad enough that like Gonzaga just has to be the winner because they've been so
Yeah.
like decent.
What if San Francisco wins the West Coast Conference tourney?
I could see that happening. Like that,
There is a world
it's
where
not
I think that
crazy.
happens. Like, because Gonzaga struggles to score the ball on the perimeter. And what does San Francisco do great is defend the interior.
Yeah.
So Gonzaga is going to have trouble scoring the ball against San Francisco. I think
Hmm.
they're not
Yeah.
going to be as comfortable as they were against them in years
Yeah.
past.
Speaking about San Francisco, just another note that Malik Thomas has been turning a corner. he was a little
Yeah,
shaky to start,
we
but
both
like
expected him to at
but
some point.
he's been really getting buckets now. That's big. Mongolian Mike has been like decent. And just a bunch of role players after that. But yeah, they've been right there. Um Loyola Marymount and Shannon clear 4 or 5, however you want to put it, and everyone else is bad in the conference.
Yeah.
Down year for WCC, but still gonna be a fun few teams. Um
Also, San Diego has shown a lot of young upside.
yeah, I mean like yeah,
They've been better
young
tan I
upsides
thought
there.
they'd be. I remember
I
we
would
both
agree with
thought they'd be
that, but like
last.
they haven't been like I'm not like in on San
The fact that they
Diego.
beat Arizona State was pretty funny. I watched that game. That
Yeah,
was
Arizona State sucks, but like
that was
Deuce Turner's been good. That was kind of the
Wayne
guy I
McKinney
thought was
has
gonna
really been
be that
he's
guy.
fun to
McKinney,
watch.
yeah, McKinney has been pretty solid as well.
Um, they have that one lefty shooter who's nice. He's a white kid. He's like a senior. I forget his
PJ
name.
Hayes, yeah,
Yes,
PJ Hayes,
he's so entertaining to
D2
watch. He like
transfer, yeah,
stunts after every three and shoots his thing
he
at the
can really
bench.
shoot the ball. He can really shoot. Yeah, they have a good freshman class, so
That
it's
Arizona
definitely.
State game was something else. If you watched it, no one did. I
I
know.
did not watch that game.
I did. That was a fun watch.
Yeah, but
Um,
like they have a real future.
for
With like
sure, they're
Kevin
building something
Patton,
nice.
Dragos, Lungu, Jimmy Aladikun, and Keon Kenji. Like that's a good freshman
Jimmy
class.
Locoons looked really nice. I think he's been the guy
Yes,
for me over the most. And
really good interior big man
Mhm.
on the glass defensively. So yeah. Anything else before we wrap up the
I
podcast?
think
Any
it's a good
other?
get back pod, you know,
Yeah,
to just reestablish
kind
the
of
ASM.
wrapping non-conference season up, kind of painting the
This is a midway
picture
point. It's the
for
All-Star
the
break.
conference season. Pretty much. I mean,
I think we need to do a top 25 mid-majors collab. I've been seeing too many lists that are just
yeah.
hurting my eyes. And people are afraid to change up the lists. It's a
Who would be your top few teams or top 25 mid majors? So
yeah.
who would be your like top few teams? Like
Well, I
don't
see
list
everyone has San Diego State still top
like
three.
are we counting Gonzaga?
I mean, we typically do, right? We got
I'm not
to.
sure like they're shooting at one, but like I think they would. Well, FAU would be.
Some
It
people
just
count
depends on.
Memphis.
It just
So,
depends on like what conference. I think you have to do it by conference. Like it depends. Like
I mean,
hypothetically,
honestly, I would put Memphis at one. Then I put
not.
FAU two.
No, you can't do it after the Arizona. After
No.
what happened on what day was it? After
I
what
think
happened
this
on
is, I
Saturday
guess right
when
now, okay, fine. We'll put
FAU
FAU at one.
basically played at Arizona. It wasn't at Arizona. It was an Arizona crowd though. At Arizona's a stretch. It wasn't even close to home environment, but definitely a more of a leaning Arizona crowd.
I mean, FAU had nobody there. I don't know. They
I
didn't have
mean,
anybody there. It was a home crowd for Arizona. It
yeah.
definitely was.
Not like I mean, not like a huge crowd there in general.
Yeah,
They should just play it at Arizona
right.
or like somewhere that people go to. I don't know,
Going
but
Vegas.
and then Memphis barely beat Vanderbilt.
Yeah,
You
so I
can't.
can't say that now, but I think by season's end, I'm going to like,
It'll be close. We'll see. We'll
but
see.
we'll see. I think those are your top two, though. I think it's Memphis and FAU, then Gonzaga at three. Then
In like the Mountain
after
West
that,
teams.
I would put New Mexico at four. Then I'd put Colorado State around there. Then I put Nevada pretty high. I'm very high on Nevada after
Yeah,
what I
Dayton
saw in
has
the
to be
Diamond
somewhere in
Classic.
there.
And then I put Grand Canyon really high, like
Yeah,
7 or 8. I love
they're
Grand Canyon this
too.
year. And then I put San Diego State like around 9 or 10. And I think
Yeah,
that's where they probably belong from
yeah.
what we've seen so far.
Indiana State's
Um,
probably a little bit after them as well,
yeah,
though.
true. Indiana State's in that ballpark. Um,
Yeah,
St. Mary's will probably drop around there,
yeah.
even with how
Princeton's been
bipolar.
good. Um,
Akron's gone a little better, I think, from what I've heard.
I
I don't
don't
know.
think. I mean, yeah, they've been like,
Liberty's pretty high.
yeah,
I still like Liberty enough, even though they've
yeah,
taken off a little bit, but I
yeah.
still like them
There's
enough.
still metrics still like them.
Charleston has really come on. unfortunately.
Yeah, I think they're still a little bit away from like really
Yeah,
giving them like a
that's
ton
true.
of props, but they're on the way
They're
back up.
getting there. That was a good win against St. Joe's for sure.
Yeah, they've been playing good recently. I kind of like them to win the conference. I think Hofstra's that's
So
going to be a tough one.
I like Wilmington still. I think
Yeah,
Wilmington's still
that's
gonna
going to be a
be
fun top group. But yeah,
for sure.
anything else though before we send this
That's
podcast
it.
out to
I
the
think,
listeners?
since you and Cho seem to like the collab on everything, I think we need to collab on that. So there you go.
Potentially.
So,
But yeah, make sure to give us 5 stars if you're listening to this on the podcast platforms. If you're listening it to on YouTube, which, as I mentioned, is an option to listen on and would be appreciated, even if you're listening this on the podcast platforms, to at least check out the YouTube. If not, that's also great too. To really appreciate anyone that's still been listening to this point. Yeah, make sure to follow our social media accounts, stay up to date on all of the fun interactive content that we're putting on mostly Instagram as well as Twitter a little bit. Maybe TikTok soon. We'll have to get into TikTok lab, but yeah,
yes, sir.
I think that wraps up the episode and we will maybe see you next week. Next week might be a little tough for me with how my schedule works,
Mm,
but
that's fine. That's fine.
we'll see you at some point sooner in a month though. I will put that in words that we will not take as long between episodes as we did last time. So yeah, that is the podcast. We will see you next time, whenever that is.